hurdle is only going to continue for the filmmakers?
Well, now it is somewhere or the other a very, very big relief for the filmmakers, because remember that they've already tried to make out a prima facie case that the ban in the state of West Bengal is somewhere or the other not right. And that's the reason why, in fact, the Supreme Court has also lifted that particular ban, because the Supreme Court has also realized that the movie is already running across the country, and it's only the state of West Bengal and Tamil Nadu where, such kind of a review is coming in, or certain kind of a ban is being imposed de facto, whether we talk of state of Tamil Nadu or West Bengal. But at the same point of time, you're right that the legal hurdles would continue. But at the same point of time, it would be a very, very small legal hurdle, because until July, the film would already be making a lot of money. There would already be, even if the certification gets cancelled at some point of time, the film already has a good amount of time to actually perform. It has been listed in the second week of vacation, so already the film has a certain kind of time to actually go on and perform at the theaters, and we're already seeing that the film is doing good on the box office. The numbers are currently going perfectly fine, but
yes,
definitely whether or not finally the movie would be the CBFC certification would be cancelled or not is something that might be a little scary for the filmmakers of this particular film.
Sure, but that's not until July. Do stay on with me. BJP's Priyanka Tibrewal joining us on this broadcast. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. We've just had a word coming in from the Supreme Court. The decision is that the ban needs to be lifted in West Bengal. But the TMC says that it was an informed decision that the Chief Minister had taken, because for her, the security and safety of the state was important and there was nothing wrong in it.
See, again, I will repeat myself that it was not about anyone's security. It was about appeasement of a particular community, which Mamata Banerjee practices each and every time. She gives a separate place to this one particular community. That is all that she had done all this for, and nothing else behind this. Because if she is worried about the law and order situation, you see every day there are bomb blasts in West Bengal. Only day before yesterday, 9 people killed in bomb blasts. And this was for the 4th time in the same place. But their factory license was not cancelled. And here you are trying to ban a film which the censor board had approved. So I will say that the Supreme Court has given up a very, very good decision in the favor of the people, the viewers, because they have the right to see what they wish to see.
Mr. Tibrewal, do stay on with me, because TMC's Biswarjit Deb also joining us on this broadcast. Thank you so much for speaking with us, sir, here. And if you heard what the BJP spokesperson had to say, Priyanka Tibrewal says that this is nothing but hypocrisy.
You see, first of all, I would like to say that this particular film is basically based on distorted facts. And it had the potential to incite violence. And that's the reason why the government decided to prohibit this particular film from being exhibited in Bengal. There would have been, you see, sufficient reasons. There are sufficient reasons why Bengal government decided to prohibit this particular film. But since the Honorable Supreme Court has directed that the ban should not be implemented, so we have to obey the order of implement the order of the Honorable Apex Court.
Sure.
The order of the Honorable Apex Court will definitely be complied with. But you see, the question of law and order is a state subject. And the state, if it considers necessary that there might be a law and order problem if a film is being exhibited, the state government has got the right to do it.
Sure. But Mr. Deb, the state government...
But now, since there is an order of the Supreme Court, the film will be exhibited.
Sure.
But now you see the consequences. Now if something happens, now who will take the responsibility?
The state would, sir. It's the state's responsibility.
Pardon me?
The state would be responsible, sir, if there is an untoward incident, because law and order is a state subject.
The state will be responsible. The state will definitely take all steps. But you see, there is provocation from BJP. From each and every day, there is provocation from BJP. And this is happening everywhere. It is happening everywhere. The entire state, wherever there is a law and order problem, wherever there is a problem with regard to law and order, you see that the BJP people, they are trying to incite violence. And their politics is the politics of division. a division between religion. So this is what exactly Mamata Banerjee want to stop. And that is why the state government has taken a call to ban this particular film. Now, since the Supreme Court has ordered for exhibiting this particular film in Bengal, it will be done.
Sure. But Mr. Dev, you said... But Mr. Dev, you say that there were several instances, there was intelligence as far as the state government is concerned also of what kind of instances had happened and what could happen. But the court has come out and said today, the CGI has observed this, that prima facie they're of the view. So let me finish. So let me finish. Please indulge me, sir. Let me finish my question. The CGI has said that prima facie we are of the view that the prohibition by West Bengal is not tenable on the basis of the material that was placed before them. So if you're saying that there was intel that things could go haywire, that the situation could deteriorate, did then the state government not ensure that that evidence was placed on record? Because the Supreme Court today said that the material that was placed before them wasn't enough for this ban to be put in place.
What material has been placed before the court, I cannot comment on that. But I can say that the state government had intelligence inputs wherein there was a specific feedback that if this film is being exhibited, there might be a problem. So that is why the state government took a call to prohibit this particular film. And now since the Supreme Court has passed an order, the order of the Honorable Apex Court will be complied with. But you see, what we are trying to say is this: BJP is always trying to divide people on the basis of religion. And this is the politics of BJP, and this is what they were trying to do based on this Kerala story. They had a specific agenda. The distributors, the producers, they had a specific agenda. So that is where the state government wanted to stop them. But now since there is an order of the court, we have to comply with it.
Sure. Sure, Mr. Biswaji Dev, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. It's not a setback. There was intelligence that was put on record, but unfortunately for the West Bengal government, the ban has to now be lifted. Prima facie, there's no evidence to show that there could have been any deterioration in law and order, is what the Supreme Court has also come out and now said. The BJP, though, says that this is nothing but politics of appeasement by the ruling TMC. They also call this hypocrisy. The political war of words only continues, but what is coming out of the Supreme Court is extremely crucial. The freedom of expression argument that is put forth in many of these cases was put forth in this particular case as well, and that is something that cannot be used as per convenience, was the message that has come to the fore from the Supreme Court, Anusha, isn't it?
Untoward incident, it's the state government which is going to be responsible. Two facets on which I'd like to talk about. One is the intel report. Well, every state wants to put out an intel report to take a decision that they do not want to give out reasons in detail and justify to the judiciary. Whenever it has been about freedom of expression vis-a-vis movies, bans that we have seen coming in, whether it was about the movie Padmavat or right now the Kerala story, which was earlier banned in the state of West Bengal, the approach of judiciary has been pro-freedom of expression. Unless a piece of cinema or art is so offensive to the public sentiments that it cannot be displayed, only on those grounds a ban of that nature can be justified. If you ask me, it was only a matter of time that the ban would have been revoked from the Supreme Court or from any other high courts if this matter was earlier taken. Now, there was another aspect that you were earlier speaking about, that can the movie really be hauled up for the kind of content that they have put out, or the kind of certain anti-community statements which, according to certain people in the case involved that Mr. Kapil Sibal mentioned, can the Supreme Court really do on that? There's one point about the autonomy of the CBFC that I'd like to reiterate. There are various movies which are made in a certain taste and in a certain flavor, and there are different communities, sections, political lines in our country which may or may not like them. The discretion of a director to tell the movie, the autonomy of the CBFC to pass a movie, is something that has been accepted by the Supreme Court and the high courts of the country. So even with Padmavat, there were certain changes that were suggested earlier, but eventually it was left to the Central Bureau of Film Certification to decide whether those changes need to be brought in or not. And I believe till time comes, which is till July, this matter would actually become very redundant. The fact that there is already an undertaking which has been given, that the 32,000 figure is not exact and there is no proper data which is available. Mr. Harish Salve has given that undertaking. That makes it abundantly clear that with those riders and disclaimers, this movie is good to go ahead. Very briefly, I'd like to talk about the state of Tamil Nadu. Well, Tamil Nadu as a state was very smart in the sense that they did not put out a notification. Otherwise, their fate would have been similar to what has happened in the state of West Bengal. That notification would have been stayed by the Supreme Court of India. Now, there was a shadow ban of sort, which is the movie, the cinema plexes and the multimedia managers were saying we're not able to showcase the movie because there's a law and order problem. Now, the Supreme Court coming forward and saying that the multiplex owners need to be given some kind of security if they want to showcase the movie. So, in the state of West Bengal, in the case of state of West Bengal, the order is pretty stark because there was an explicit ban that was put out by the state government. In the case of Tamil Nadu, it's slightly different.
And as far as West Bengal is concerned, they had on record in their affidavit mentioned instances where they thought that there would be a law and order situation. They also said they had intel which proved that this could deteriorate law and order situation even further in the state, which is why they took an informed decision of banning the film, as the TMC was telling us just a short while ago. But Ananya, the CGI-led bench has come out very clearly and said that prima facie, the material that was placed on record, the evidence or the instances that the TMC talks of, that the West Bengal government talks of, was not enough for this ban to be put in the first place.
Well, definitely the Supreme Court going on to say this, and as Anusha was also pointing it out, the autonomy of the CBFC, the central board, the certification board of the country, is held by the High Court and the Supreme Court several times in various of this judgment. Whether we talk of the Prakash Singh versus Union of India judgment, wherein the bone of contention was the movie Arakshan, or we talk of Padmavat, as Anusha was pointing it out, there is definitely autonomy that the CBFC has, and if at all a movie has a CBFC certification, there are very, very low chances that the courts would actually intervene. If you remember the case of Batla House movie, there was certain kind of changes that were suggested in the movie. There was certain kind of a disclaimer that would need to be put in. But the movie was not actually banned in the country. That was allowed to go ahead. Similar was the case with Padmavat, and now it is the Kerala story that is the bone of contention. So whether or not it would sustain, whether the matter would be, whether there would be some kind of order, whether there would be a legal hurdle for the filmmakers, is something that we'll only have to talk in July now, because at this point of time, with the undertakings that have been given by Mr. Harish Salve, who was appearing for the producers for minute tweaks in the disclaimers, the movie is definitely going to go ahead. And in fact, now it would be the state of Tamil Nadu and would be the state of West Bengal, where also the movie would be screened now very clearly, because there are Supreme Court orders. And if you remember that just recently, yesterday, the British Broadcasting Federation, which actually the British Censor Board too, has given a good go ahead to the movie to be actually screened in Britain as well. So definitely this is something that is a good news coming in all the way from all the ways for the filmmakers, whether it's the Supreme Court, whether it's the British censor boards, or it is the CBFC. The film is very, very clear to go ahead and in fact to do business, and until July, when this matter would actually be heard again, then as Anusha was also pointing it out, nothing would actually remain in that particular movie, because everything would have already been completed. The movie would have already passed and done a good business until July, when the matter would be heard next. Poonam.
Yes, do stay on with me. BJP's Amit Malviya also joining us on this broadcast. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. The TMC says that this is not a setback. They had credible intel that there could be a deterioration in law and order situation, which is why that informed decision was taken by the CM.
Well, in that case, Mamata Banerjee should resign as the Chief Minister. If as Home Minister of West Bengal, she can't ensure screening of a movie which is on real-life incidents, then she has no business to stay in power. Secondly, there was no law and order situation in West Bengal. There were several screenings that happened and theatres were houseful. It's unfortunate that Mamata Banerjee chose to stand with dreaded organizations like the ISIS and radical elements who are brainwashing and converting young, gullible women and using them as cannon fodder in places like Afghanistan, Syria, and pushing them into the path of terror. I'm glad the Supreme Court has upturned this decision, but I hope that West Bengal and Mamata Banerjee as Home Minister ensures that the screenings happen without disruption, because a dog whistle is clearly something that undermines freedom of speech and expression in Bengal.
Freedom of speech has been undermined, at least for the last few days, says the BJP. TMC's Sogato Roy also joining us on this broadcast. And Mr. Roy, if you heard what Amit Malviya had to say, it is the prerogative and it is imperative on the state government to ensure that law and order is maintained. banning the film because there was intel is not something that the state government should have done, is also the message that has come to the fore from the Supreme Court today.
I've heard about the Supreme Court. He just felt that there should be a stay on the ban put by the West Bengal government on screening the Kerala story. That was what the state government felt, that screening Kerala story would disturb the law and order situation. But since the Supreme Court is the last word as far as law of the land is concerned, the West Bengal government will have to abide by it, even though we do not agree with the Supreme Court's ruling. And we'll wait till the final hearing on the matter. We'll have to, I think, abide by the Supreme Court. And whatever the Supreme Court has said about providing protection to the screening of the film, I think that will also be done.
But Mr. Roy, you say that it is the prerogative of the state government to take a decision like this to ensure that there is no untoward law and order situation. But the CGI today also came out and said that prima facie, the material that was put on record, there was nothing to show that there was any instance like that that justified the ban.
And that is their view. The Bengal government put their view in the court. Now the Supreme Court, highest court of the land, did not agree with the West Bengal government's contribution. So that was
Sure. Sure, Mr. Shagata Roy, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. The TMC definitely does not see this as a setback. We will abide by the Supreme Court order, is the message coming to the fore from the TMC. But the political war of words is only escalating because the BJP refuses to back down. They say that the West Bengal government, the TMC and their alleged politics of appeasement has now been exposed in the judiciary as well, in the highest court of the country. In fact, recapping what has transpired and the big relief that is coming to the fore from the Supreme Court is that the film gets a go-ahead as long as they put certain disclaimers. There is a deadline that has been set by the Supreme Court as well for those disclaimers to be put forth. But there cannot be a ban on this film in West Bengal. That has been lifted by the Supreme Court. And as far as the case of Tamil Nadu is concerned, then it is the state government's responsibility to ensure that all of these screenings across multiplexes, across theatres in Tamil Nadu need to be secured, need to be protected, and that responsibility lies on the state government and on the police. That's the message that has come to the fore from the Supreme Court. Anusha and Ananya, my colleagues, continue to be with us. And Ananya, there is a deadline of until 20th of this month that has been set by the Supreme Court for two particular disclaimers to be put on this film.
Well, definitely that is there, and it was been asked by, in fact, the Chief Justice of India after the assurance from Harish Salve that, there has to be, in fact, a disclaimer that says that, there's no kind of a particular figure available as to how many conversions are actually taking place. But what is more important and what is happening at the current moment is that the Solicitor General of India too has come in. The hearing is still going on. And in fact, the Chief Justice of India has said that we will hear the matter and lay down guidelines, is what in fact the Chief Justice of India is saying. Ahmadi is saying that the film has to be watched over weekend and then a decision can be made out. The Solicitor General is saying that I am for the Union of India, this is setting a bad precedent regarding movies. Your Lordship have always said that don't watch it if you don't want. After vacations, nothing will happen, is what the Solicitor General of India is also saying. He basically also is opposing a ban on the particular film, clearly saying that the Supreme Court shall not intervene and shall lift any kind of a ban, and if at all there shall not be any kind of a ban, and if at all the people don't want to watch it, they should not watch it. And this is the precedent of the Supreme Court in the earlier orders as well, is what Mr. Solicitor is actually pointing it out. The Chief Justice of India, we will define a doctrine, what is permitted and what is not. We look at the film and decide, is what the CGI is saying.
Yes.
So when the matter actually comes back in July, there would be broader guidelines. There might be broader, contextuals that are given out by the Chief Justice of India and the bench headed by him with regards to how films are to be made, what is to be avoided, what is not to be avoided. And in fact, it might also talk about the autonomy of the CBFC and how films should be made and whether there should be some kind of riders in the pictures, in the movies as well. Poonam.
Sure, that broader judgment could come out after the vacation, but for now there is relief for the filmmakers. Anusha and Ananya, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that. We'll keep a track of this and much more on the other side of a quick break, so don't go anywhere.
Something else is given in return, because this third candidate business, it's been floating around for a couple of days now. How much, how real is the possibility of a third candidate, a surprise candidate?
No, I don't think that is possible, because these are the two principal, actors who won this election for Karnataka, and there's no third person who has won this election. If at all some role has been played, it is by Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, giving a helping hand as a Congress president. And if you're talking about people like M.B. Patil or Parameshwar, they had a little role in these elections. So to make them as a third candidate or a possible compromise candidate, I think it will be turning the whole exercise into a farce, and it won't happen, because these two have really worked really hard to bring Congress, to this level where they got 135 seats.
So between these two, who would you choose between these two?
See, it's very difficult, and I think they should have made this decision at least a week before, when they had a sense that Congress was getting a majority. I'm sure they knew that they were getting a majority, or at least when the three observers were sent to Bangalore, and they meticulously took the opinion of each and every legislator till 2 a.m. They took them, and then what did they do with that? With all the information that they had.
No. The information there was very clear, Mr. Upadhyay. The MLAs very clearly, overwhelmingly voted or were in favor of Mr. Siddaramaiah. But clearly that's not the only yardstick the High Command wants to go by.
No, but see, by dragging the whole thing to Delhi and making a spectacle of it here, what is that you have achieved? I think they've made made Karnataka into a farce now.
Okay.
Because you have the media glare, every single meeting of, whichever leader's meeting, whichever leader is being covered, and people are speculating on what's happening. And the fact that the Siddaramaiah group went to town this morning saying that he has been selected, and in Bangalore, the preparations began for swearing in. This all, I think, must have embarrassed the Congress party.
Oh, absolutely. Today you had celebrations outside Siddaramaiah's house. You had protesters outside 10 Janpad. I mean, that's absolutely embarrassing. When you have protesters outside the house of the former Congress president. I mean, that's absolutely embarrassing, because that's the point, Meeta Chakrabarti, that all the panelists are making. The BJP has also taken its time in choosing its chief ministers, not like this publicly. Not like this publicly.
Allow me to rebut to that. Congress is my party and Congress is like my mother. These are not my words. These are words spoken by D.K. Shiv Kumar, and give me 30 seconds or 1 minute of uninterrupted time, please. So,
welcome back. Now, the stalemate continues as far as the cabinet in Karnataka is concerned, but the chief ministerial race is over. That drama has ended. An announcement came to the fore from the Congress party, and they have decided that Siddaramaiah is the man who is going to be at the helm of affairs. 5 days after election results, Congress today finally announced that Siddaramaiah will be the chief minister, while D.K. Shiv Kumar will be his deputy. It is pertinent to note now that there will be no rotation of power. That 50-50 formula that was initially floated is not something the Congress is willing to speak on record about. But they did come out and say that until Lok Sabha elections in 2024, D.K. Shiv Kumar will continue to stay as the PCC president.
Congress president took a decision. He decided to make Siddaramaiah as the Chief Minister of Karnataka. Siddaramaiah will be the Chief Minister of Karnataka. D.K. Shiv Kumar will be the only one Deputy CM of Karnataka. He will continue as a PCC President till the Parliament election is over. Power sharing formula is to share the power to the people of Karnataka. That's all.
We had made a one-line resolution that whatever the High Command will take a decision, we will abide by it. Ultimately, Rahul ji called me and said, you all have to work together. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge ji called us and gave this dikat. We all have accepted whatever the formula has been generated. What has happened to Congress party? Everything is well. Everything will be well, is going to be well. We have to respect the sentiment of the people of Karnataka and the country at large.
Kumar to agree to your formula of deputy CM.
Shri Mallikarjun Kharge has his own sagacious way, knowledge and experience of dealing with the leaders of Karnataka. Everybody listens to his sagacious advice. For us, party is far bigger than post or people.
So there's no rotation formula being applied?
I think the General Secretary organization clearly answered that the only rotation formula or power formula is service of the people as servants of the people.
And do you think it's going to be is it going to be a smooth 5-year term?
Yes, it will be. We will be able to serve.
You don't see a repeat of the Rajasthan situation?
Absolutely not.
When people have given such a big mandate, definitely we should be happy, we should deliver, we should fulfill the promises what they have given. That is our main motto, agenda. Why I should be upset? Because there is a long way to go.
No, I deserve the Chief Minister. Why only Deputy Chief Minister? But at least if the party has to take everybody together, run up to the parliament election, everybody should together work for that. And I am sure the High Command knows that.
One only hopes that Karnataka is not transmutated into another Rajasthan by the Congress party. The people give a mandate for stability, but the Congress party has a habit of drawing instability from the jaws of stability. And we have seen that template play out in Rajasthan, where Sachin Pilot has been on dharna against his own government. We have seen it play out in Chhattisgarh. We are seeing signs of it in every state where the Congress by mistake gets an opportunity to rule, and therefore one hopes that Karnataka does not become another Rajasthan and somebody does not become the next Sachin Pilot of Rajasthan.
The swearing-in ceremony of Karnataka's next Chief Minister Siddaramaiah is likely to be a grand affair, with thousands of his supporters expected to take part in the ceremony, many of them coming from different parts of Karnataka. At the same time, the Congress party wants to send across a strong message about opposition unity on the same stage. Chief ministers of various states, including M.K. Stalin of Tamil Nadu and other states, along with Congress-ruled state chief ministers, are likely to be invited for the swearing-in to send across a strong message to the BJP ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. Interestingly, all eyes will be on Congress party to see how many ministers take oath alongside Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivakumar, and if they can ensure that both the camps are happy, and if all around 20 to 30 seats of cabinet ministers can be decided in a short span of time.
Ritu, my colleague, joining us from Bengaluru from outside Siddaramaiah's residence. Ritu, right when the announcement was made, we had seen several supporters of the former Chief Minister, and now the Chief Minister-elect had come out. They had gathered outside his residence, even though he's not in Bengaluru. Are we seeing similar scenes even now?
Well, yes, the scenes are still similar. I'll request my VJ to pan and show you those visuals, in fact, for you to get a better clarity as well. So you see here the supporters of Siddaramaiah continues to be right in front of his house. There are so many cutouts that have in fact been erected by his supporters as well. All this while since morning that we are also seeing his supporters pouring milk on his picture as well, calling him Karnataka's next Chief Minister, quite happy about him. Also appreciating him for the kind of social welfare schemes that he had brought out during his tenure in 2013. And continuing to work for the people of Karnataka. However, now with the Siddaramaiah expected to reach Bengaluru here, the supporters are just coming more in numbers, expecting him to be here soon so that they can congratulate him personally, also give him those gifts and bouquets as well. But also, since morning that we are seeing here a lot of cakes coming up saying Karnataka's next Chief Minister is Siddaramaiah. His supporters cutting the cake and also sharing their happiness as well. So that's what the atmosphere outside of Siddaramaya's residence looks like. But now needs to be seen with Siddaramaya entering Bengaluru. The complete atmosphere is really going to change. There will be more colors added to it as well. So yes, that's the atmosphere that we are getting to see right now.
The wait is for Siddaramaya to reach Bengaluru at his residence. There's the CLP meeting that's going to take place at 7 p.m. today as well. We will keep coming back to you, Ritu. Do stay on with us because after days of hectic lobbying that took place here in the national capital, the decision has been made by the Congress party. There is a show of unity on the face of it. The cameras are showing us those pictures. The reactions that we are getting in from DK Shivkumar as well is that all is well. That is the line the Congress is towing, but whether that will stay for the next 5 years, that's the big question.
What changed overnight? Because yesterday it seemed that he was not on board, DK Shivkumar.
See, there was no problem at all. It was all media creation. There was no problem at all. Both there were discussions going on because see, we are a big party. We need to have a CLP. Observers go there, they take opinion, they come, they discuss, they give a report. Then senior leaders are consulted by the High Command, and senior leadership of the center is consulted. We have two former AICC presidents to be consulted, and after that only a decision will be taken. See, one is CM, the other is Deputy CM. Both will work together, and DK Shivkumar will continue to be the PCC president.
All action is going to shift now to Bengaluru after days of hectic lobbying here in Delhi. We'll keep a track of that here on CNN News 18. But for now, a quick break.
Of it here, what is that you have achieved? I think they've made made Karnataka into a farce now.
Okay.
Because you have the media glare, every single meeting of, whichever leader is meeting, whichever leader is being covered, and people are speculating on what's happening. And the fact that the Siddaramaya group went to town this morning saying that he has been selected and in Bangalore, the preparations began for swearing in. This all, I think, must have embarrassed the Congress party.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, today you had celebrations outside.
And then, Congress is my party and Congress is like my mother. These are not my words. These are words spoken by DK Shivkumar, and give me 30 seconds or 1 minute of uninterrupted time, please. So both Siddaramaya and Mr. DK Shivkumar are very tall leaders, incredibly talented, very hardworking, and we are choosing between two very tall
Ma'am, we
leaders.
know
I
all
think
of
it's a
that.
good problem. Yes,
Please
each
answer
of
the
them
question I
35
asked
MLAs
you.
were
I asked you a
consulted
simple
and
question.
the input
Ma'am,
was
I'm asking you a very
was
simple
taken
question.
there.
They may be tall leaders, they may be
Why
indefatigable
should
leaders,
we, after
but
getting-
why are you
after
allowing
getting-
this dirty linen to be played out in public? That's the question I'm asking.
After getting so I have a problem when you say dirty linen, because sir, answer me very simply. When someone says Congress is like my mother, there is no question of blackmailing or backstabbing. Does it seem like dirty linen?
Can I answer
washed
that?
in public?
Ma'am, for the
I don't
last
think
3
so.
days, this
Can you please
is
quote
playing
one
out in
single
front of the
statement that Mr.
cameras.
Siddaramaya just-
You're okay
so
with
we
that?
are taking our own time.
Congress
We
party
are
is
taking-
okay
what
with.
is being played out?
No,
What
please
is being
take,
played out?
ma'am, you're missing the
That
point.
we are-
Ma'am, if you can calm down and hear me for 10 seconds. Nobody has a problem with you taking 5 days or 10 days or even a month. The problem is it's
Having
all
meetings.
happening in front of the cameras. People are coming
What is
out and
happening
making
in
statements in front of the cameras. Laddus are being given in front of the
Okay, you have
cameras.
asked me something. Please allow
Firecrackers are
me-
being burst in front of the cameras.
Please
Why is
allow
all
me
this
to
happening in the
respond to
public
that.
domain?
Okay. So, there's nothing wrong
Zaka.
in celebration. Now, please allow me to answer. What is happening? There is consultation that is happening. We have got a decisive mandate, and we are committed.
Okay, I apologize for the bad audio with
welfare of
our
the-
Congress guest. We'll try and fix it in a moment and then get her back on. But I believe Mr. Vaidyanathan is also staying with us. What I want to know is a very simple question, Mr. Vaidyanathan. In the normal course of things, if a leader gets the support...
Welcome back. It is the year of India's G20 presidency, and the Kashmir Valley is preparing to host its first G20 meet. Marine commandos of the Indian Navy have now been deployed at the Dal Lake to ensure safety of all G20 leaders. Commandos have started moving into the lake, and we will now take charge of the security in the perimeter as well. NSG will also be part of the entire security grid in the valley. My colleague Ishan Vani gets us this exclusive report.
Marcos commandos have been deployed here at Dal Lake. Behind me, you can see them moving around Dal Lake. This was decided initially in a meeting that these commandos from the Indian Navy will be deployed at Dal Lake to ensure safety and security. Remember, this is for G20 that these Marcos commandos are being deployed. NSG will also be part of the entire security grid in Kashmir Valley. These are the exclusive visuals that we are bringing to you from Dal Lake from today. They are going to recce the entire area. They are going to ensure to see where the loopholes are and where they can be plugged. You can see 3 of these Marcos are there inside this boat. They are already deployed in Bandipora district, and because the venue is covered by water body from 3 sides, so to ensure safety and security of the delegates, these Marcos will be deployed along the entire Dal Lake. Now they will be seeing the entire area, and then from here they will be deployed in multiple boats, and multiple teams will be going around Dal Lake to ensure that there is no gap left, because during the G20, security forces do have enforced that there could be sensational attacks, and to avoid them, these Marcos have been pushed into service to ensure safety and security during the crucial meeting that's going to happen next week. Multiple NSG teams are today here at Lal Chowk. Behind me, you can see NSG men are going around this particular area, trying to know about the locality and hotels around this vicinity. This is the Lal Chowk area of Ghantagar, where multiple teams of NSG along with J&K police have been seeing these hotels, because in the past, multiple attacks whenever they have taken place long back, they have used hotels to go into them. And today we are seeing that NSG men are experts in room intervention, and that is why today multiple teams of NSG are seeing this entire area, trying to know that the area and also about the hotel's rooms, because if there is any possibility of any attack, they are able to deal with it swiftly. And that is why today we are seeing that multiple NSG teams coming to Lal Chowk, the city center, and trying to see the buildings here, the sort of area that is around this particular vicinity. We have already seen that multiple times this Lal Chowk area has come under attack, be it the grenade attacks, be it the Fidain attack, and that is why particularly J&K police back in the meeting decided to rope in NSG commandos to ensure the safety and security ahead of the crucial G20 meeting in Srinagar.
Few days to go for that crucial meeting, and India is prepared. But with that, it's a wrap from my side. News and updates continue here, though, on CNN News 18. Akanksha, my colleague, joins you next.
Many thanks to you, Poonam. On that note, a very warm welcome to all our viewers here at CNN News 18. Let's begin this news segment with the big story this hour. The Apex Court has lifted the ban on the film The Kerala Story. The Supreme Court has stayed the West Bengal government's order issued on 8th of May that resulted in banning the film. Now, the Supreme Court also said that theatres are free to conduct screenings of this movie across the state. The Apex Court will also hear the appeals against the refusal of Kerala High Court and Madras High Court in the month of July. The top court's observation has come as a huge relief for the producers of the film and a setback for the TMC government. Let's also listen in to some reactions.
The Honourable Chief Minister took a call because she is the administrative head of her state and she knows best what is best for her state. Even in Kerala, there was a litigation because they had mentioned in the teaser or the trailer that there are 32,000 such girls. So Kerala High Court had also asked the film director if there are 32,000 girls. He said no, it's a story of 3 girls. So there was one big discrepancy out there. Now the point is that as an administrative head, she is supposed to look after the law and order, and she will take the call on the matter in the best interests of the state.
Managing Editor Anand Narasimhan is currently going to be in discussion with the team of Kerala Story. It's over to you, Anand.
Joining us now is Vipul Amritlal Shah, the person behind the movie, the producer. We are also hopeful that Sudipta Sen, the director, should join us. But Vipulji, namaste. How would you see the Supreme Court's ruling today? Vipulji, can you hear me? Namaste, this is Anand here, Anand Narasimhan here. Can you hear me, Vipulji? Vipulji, can you hear me? We're just going to quickly try and re-establish that connection. He was on the phone, inundated with calls. Now, this is a movie that has already, in 9 days, grossed more than 100 crore, a roaring success across the country. And now it is also now going to be screened as per the court's ruling in West Bengal and in Tamil Nadu. Vipul Amritlal Shah is with us now. Namaste, Vipulji. Anand Narsimhan here. Congratulations.
Namaste.
Congratulations. How would you see the ruling by the Honorable Court today, Supreme Court?
It's a great ruling. It's a landmark judgment, according to me. It will go a long way in our principles of democracy and free speech, and people will be able to enjoy this film now in the parts where it was not allowed. So I think it's a great judgment. We have still to receive the copy, so fine print has to be read. But according to me, whatever I heard, it's amazing.
Vipulji, some amendments that you would also, as the filmmaker, would have to make in the disclaimer part, where the court has opined and Justice Chandrachud has said in the court that you would have to say that the number 32,000 has not been authenticated or verified, and the other part that this is a fictionalized version of events. So this disclaimer you would have to add. Are you open to doing that?
We will, again, I will have to study the judgment and what the disclaimer needs to be changed to. But we will abide by the Supreme Court's judgment in its totality. We are absolutely law-abiding and we respect what Honorable Supreme Court has delivered today. I think today is a day for every Indian who wants the right for free speech and freedom of expression should be happy. We are really grateful.
You say the freedom of speech, but freedom of speech also comes with certain restrictions and responsibility. So let me ask you, this whole fight has been, our argument has been based around this 32,000 number. Do you believe that that could have been avoided? Was it a tad irresponsible to go big with this 32,000 number?
Anand, let the judgment come in my hand. I want to talk about this 32,000 number in detail, but maybe today is not the right day. We don't want to say anything which might contravene, with the judgment itself. We would like to respect the judgment in its totality, its in entirety. So let this thing get over, and I promise you, we'll talk about this number.
We have spoken about this when you visited our studios, and between 32 and 3, you also did a press conference with 26 of the survivors who came up and spoke. So clearly, it is neither 32,000 or 3. The number is, and in court, there was also this aspect of that the film clip that was played in court said 2,800 to 3,200. Although more of these aspects have come through, this is what the Chief Justice has said. I'm reading out what our team was able to report from court. There is no authentic data to back up that the figure of conversion stands at 32,000. The film is a fictionalized version of events. So these are the two disclaimers that the Chief Justice has requested. Mr. Harish Salve, Senior Counsel appearing on behalf of the film producer, submits that in order to put the controversy regarding the film at rest, a following disclaimer be added not later than 5 p.m. 20th of May 2023. And these are the two disclaimers, Vipulji.
As I said, whatever the court has asked of us, we shall abide in letter and spirit without anything from our end. We respect the court's judgment, and we shall do whatever we have been asked for.
One of the aspects is the state of West Bengal and also the state of Tamil Nadu have been asked to facilitate screening of the movie. How would you see that aspect?
I think that is the most important part of this judgment, where we were not allowed to express our opinion or our film, in many ways. I would say that it was done in a way which court has not, agreed with. And they've been directed to allow the screening, and they've also been directed that if any theatre owner is threatened, then they should provide the security. And I think that is a great thing. This the film to be now screened in Bengal and Tamil Nadu with immediate effect. And so the people are going to watch it. And I must say that because of this judgment, even in the rest of the India, there is going to be another wave of euphoria for the film. And people will welcome this judgment with, their hearts open.
Well, in 9 days, your movie has grossed over 100 crore. That's one aspect. But the in court today, as Sudipta Sen also joins us. Sudipta Sen, congratulations to you too.
Thank you so much.
On this judgment ruling in your favor. But one of the charges that has been levied in court is vilification of a particular community. And that's why the court has also asked or urged the filmmakers to add this to your disclaimer, which I was telling Vipulji also, that this is a fictionalized version of events. And also around the number 32,000, saying that it's nothing, there is nothing to verify or authenticate this number of 32,000. Sudipta ji.
Okay. Now, I did not see the Supreme Court verdict, or neither I was able to talk to our lawyer as well as Vipulji. So I will not be able to comment on what exactly been said in the verdict. But end of the day, the film will run again in the West Bengal and Tamil Nadu. West Bengal and Tamil Nadu people was deprived of their right. Now, in the thousands in numbers, people are writing us. They want to watch the film. So we are extremely happy that the people of West Bengal and Tamil Nadu will be able to see the film. Thank you so much, all the media, all the newspaper, television channels, common people, that you made it possible. So we always said that we have immense respect on the judiciary of our country. So definitely the verdict which has allowed those people of West Bengal to watch the film definitely has certain potential. I am sorry that I did not see the verdict yet.
Well, the complete verdict or ruling has not surfaced. Some of it has been reported by News18. I'm reading what transpired in court via your lawyers, Mr. Harish Salve, and the instruction passed on by the Chief Justice. But more importantly, the court has said that the state has to facilitate the screening, whereas the state is concerned that it could perhaps bring animosity within communities. So, Diptoji, how would you want to answer this? Because repeatedly the Bengal government has said that there is an intent to vilify one particular community. When you show Christian and Hindu girls, then it puts another religion in bad light.
No, it is now. I think this answer has been given by by Indian and international audience, whoever has seen the film. The answer has been given. I told you, I think a couple of days back, that one 19-year-old Muslim girl was constantly abusing me since our trailer was out. Then the second day of her release, she saw the film somewhere in Kerala and said, Bhaiya, I am sorry that I was constantly abusing you after watching the film. I realized that you have done a great service to the nation, and every patriotic Indian should see the film. Now, the point is this vilification of a particular community, the change of distortion of fact, these allegations has turned into redundant. They are not valid anymore because the answer is given by the viewer who has seen the film. Now my request is, whoever is criticizing the film still without watching the film, please see the film, please go and watch the film, and then if you have the question remain with you, we are there to answer.
About 12 days ago, yes, Vipulji. Yes, Vipulji.
I want to just make one comment that every film has a bad person from some religion or some community. But we don't jump to conclusion that this film is talking about entire religion. Let me give you an example. In Sholay, the greatest film of our recent history, the villain's name is Gabbar Singh. So was Mr. Ramesh Sippy trying to say all Singhs are bad people? Or did the Singhs stood up in protest? No. Because that is how cinema is. So according to the argument made, there should be, in all the films, there should be a villain who should have no name and no religion and no visual representation of any religion. How will it work? How can we make relatable, true stories if we are not going to have the freedom like what we are trying to do here? If we are showing a terror network, how on earth it can be equated with a community or a religion? How? Please explain it to me.
You make a fair point, but there are those states which believe that their intelligence reports and there could be ruckus and there could be a law and order situation which they want to avoid, Vipulji.
That when you put a arbitrary ban without any logic or without any legal standing, how do you justify? It's the easiest thing to say intelligent report. And the film is running across the country, right? You only said that the film has done some huge numbers. And there is no violence reported anywhere. So the point is that whole country is different and one state is different. These arguments and these logics have not found any buyer, and that is why the judgment today has clearly stated that the ban has to be lifted, and the government's duty is to give protection if there is somebody trying to create a ruckus. So that's what we are saying. That this argument or this ban by itself was bad, and now the Honorable Court has corrected it, so all the Bengal people can go and watch this film, and then we can talk about it if there is anything that they find wrong in the film. We are open to that discussion always.
Sudipta was smiling away when you were when you answered that question, Vipulji. So let me ask Sudipta, what was that smile all about?
See, the thing is, the tragedy is, being a Bengali, I was ashamed, honestly speaking, because wherever I go, particularly being a filmmaker, we have a special position in the intellectual world, or the world of the art and cinema, that we are from Bengal. You know, the film industry is dominated by the Bengalis, and we are known as the champion of free speaking people of the country. We are known as we always high regard for the democratic values. We value the human rights. Now, a place when the country is actually the whole debate has come. The debate about our film or the concern about the girls of this country has taken the center stage. Suddenly, this ban, so-called ban, came up, which was actually ashamed me being a Bengali. And more importantly, without watching the film, we are told that our film has distorted the fact. Our film has maligned a particular community, which was absolutely wrong. And people are saying that we have done a great service to the Islamic community. In our film, there is a song also. There is a song that जहन में गलत इमेज इसके अंदर डाल दिया था, मनो में डाल दिया था हमने. We have done a great service to the Islamic community, that how this extremist force, the sinister plan of extremism, is using religion to run their terror network. So I think this film must be seen by every Indian, and I think it is a great opportunity for bring back the argument, the conversation about the terrorism. We have the right to disagree with every communication, but before everything, we have to watch the film.
Yeah. Final two questions. घूम फिर के सुदीप्ता, I have to ask you this. It comes to the numbers. 32,000 बोला, 3 ही दिखाया, फिर आपने 26 लोगों को लेके आए. Then the movie clipping was talked about in court today, where Mr. Hari Salve said 2,800 to 3,200. Do you think this entire running around the numbers was not required? You could have avoided talking about the numbers.
Bipulji said very nicely that it is just a weapon to discredit us, because honestly speaking, we have understood very clearly, though we are not politicians, we don't speak with the in the language of the politician. Isliye we don't go to any political debate in any television channels. But matter of fact is, we understood that our cinema, our film has hit the bullseye, and बहुत सारे दुकानें बंद होने वाले हैं. ये जो वोट बैंक पॉलिटिक्स और इस देश की रिलीजियन के नाम के पॉलिटिक्स करने की जो एक इकोसिस्टम चलता है, our film is going to hit that very badly. So some people are desperate to discredit us, so they are talking about the numbers. If we can show 26 girls, we can show 2,600 girls. We can show 32,000 girls. But that is not the purpose. We are not here to win any battle. We are here exclusively to tell a heart-centered story. We were, day before yesterday, we were in a open-air theatre where Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister was watching the film. I saw the politician, the hardcore politicians are in tears. And they are coming and, one female minister come to Ada, hugged her, said, Beti, tu mere ghar chal. This was her language. That is the emotion flowing when people are watching the film. Do you think by raising the number and doubting the integrity, by questioning the number, we are going to be deterred? We worked for 7 years. Vipulji has put his last money in this film. Nobody helped us. So we are not here to fool ourselves. So we know what we are doing. We are going to do that. We have come with 26 real cases yesterday, and if required, we will come with more number, and we will prove the point that this cinema is about three girls, the story of three real stories of out of those 32,000 girls.
So you still want to stick and back that number, saying there are more.
I am not. Just a sec. I am not sticking to any number. Number is just something which we rounded up, adding up lot of things. We have in our film we mentioned 50,000 girls, more than 50,000 girls, more than 7,000 girls. So number is just not important for us.
Yeah, Vipulji, you're saying something. Sorry, your audio was down. Yeah.
Dada, we can't talk about the number because today we have not even seen the judgment. So let us not talk about numbers. You've said enough. And we are going to abide by the judgment of the court. We are not going to contradict it in even by one word. We're going to do it in letter and spirit. That's all that we can talk about the number later. I told you in the beginning of the show, we will come back with the answer to all the number related questions. Don't worry.
I look forward to that conversation in detail soon. But let me ask you, 9 days, 10 days ago, Vipul Shahji, for somebody who sunk his last money in this movie, as Sudipto Sen says, did you think that you would be laughing away to the bank, clocking more than 100 crore and still counting? And now with 2 more states to open their theatres to viewers in those states.
I think when I made this film, I had not made it with any commercial consideration. I had made it as a part of my human duty towards these girls. I wanted to expose this terror network, and I think the film has done it. Where it would go, what it would do was never in our imagination. We still want the rest of the country to watch this film. Watching this film is very, very important, according to me. The whole country must watch this film. That is the purpose. What follows, what numbers follow, or what would have happened if the film would have, failed or whatever, that was never in our minds. We just wanted to go out and do this. And we are very happy that the whole nation has stood by us. And people are going in such big numbers, not just in India, abroad as well. And I think in coming days, we want to see many more people to come to cinema halls and watch this film.
But does this now encourage you to pick up more subjects like this, the right kind of cinema that sets the right narrative, unravel certain aspects of our history or certain aspects of society that are largely brushed under the carpet?
I think this is the time for all of us to make cinema which is going to empower our nation. Any subject that is going to bring out some amount of, expose and, take the lid off some hidden subject, and that's going to change our nation for betterment. This is the right time for everybody to do it. And yes, of course, we will be looking at more subjects like these where we are going to expose more things. Of course, why not?
Sure, Vipul Shahji and Sudipto ji, thank you very much, and congratulations are in order on a favourable ruling, but you also have to follow certain orders of the Honourable Court. We leave you for you to abide by those as per the Supreme Court. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, that was Anand Narasimhan in discussion with the producer and the director of the movie the Kerala story. On that note, let's quickly go across to our correspondent Kamalika Sengupta, who's joining me live at the moment. Kamalika, important talk about how the TMC has reacted right now. We heard what the director of this movie, Sudipto Sen, who also happens to be a Bengali, said that, you know, I'm a Bengali and Bengalis, in fact, are all for democracy. He's also gone on to say that now with this ruling of the Supreme Court, there will be greater freedom as far as freedom of speech is concerned. Could you bring us how the TMC is reacting to the verdict?
Yes, TMC is just there where they were when the film was banned on 8 May. They are clearly saying that they have this input that this might create a law and order problem. Rather, TMC is now saying that if the film has to be released now, and if there is a law and order problem, then will the Supreme Court take responsibility of that? So they are going, you know, in this extent, and they are saying that Mamata Banerjee is the Chief Minister of the state. She is the administrator of the state. She knows best what is good and bad for the state. So they don't, and with that they are saying that this is malicious, this is trying to belittle one particular community. They are absolutely sticking to the point where they were on the first day. Now they will obviously see the directions that has been given by the court, and they'll work in accordance to it, and whether they are going to approach the higher court or higher bench or not, that is really to be seen. But definitely the West Bengal government is not happy, and TMC and West Bengal's government's stand is just there where it was, that this might create unrest. But there was a division as far as civil society is concerned out here. Some section of civil society were saying that this is obviously a ban of freedom and speech and expression. They were raising questions on that. On the other hand, there were another section who were, you know, contemplating about this law and order issue.
Right.
But obviously this is definitely something which the state government has to think now.
Right, Kamalika, since you are talking about the law and order issue, important to highlight what the bench headed by the CJI has had to say. It said that it is the duty and responsibility of the state government to look into the law and order situation, especially after a movie has already been granted the CBFC certificate. Having said that, what will the government now do about the security situation now that the movie will be screening?
And that is the biggest question. Whether this will be challenged again in the court of law or not, that is to be seen. Number two, obviously, excessive security has to be given, because they have already said there is an apprehension of law and order situation. So definitely it is a tough task for the government, and they really have to see what they will do. But right now, till the order comes, till the directions clearly is briefed by the legal cell of the government has not come out with any of their version. But this is the party which is saying that the apprehensions and there, if something happens, then that responsibility Supreme Court has to take. But this is a political line. What actually in administrative way they have to do, they have to really ponder on that. And that's why discussions are on. That's what we are getting it from the sources.
Right. It's interesting you mentioned the political line, because that's what exactly we are now going to refer to. I'm going to request you, Kamalika, to stay on with me. In the meantime, let's also play out Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary of the Congress Party has also reacted to this entire controversy. Let's listen in to what he has to say before I go back to Kamalika.
Kerala story কোথায় কোথায় বিনা পয়সা দেখাচ্ছে? মধ্যপ্রদেশ, উত্তরপ্রদেশ, কারণ সে সমস্ত রাজ্যগুলো বিজেপি পরিচালিত, তাই তারা দেখাচ্ছে। সেখানে ভারতবর্ষের বিপ্লবীদের এত ছবি, সেই ছবি বিনা পয়সায় দেখানো হয় না, কিন্তু কেরল স্টোরি দেখানো হয় বিনা পয়সায়, কাশ্মীর ফাইল দেখানো হয় বিনা পয়সা। তার কারণ সেখানে বিভাজনের রাজনীতি করা যাবে।
All right, Kamalika, to break it down for all our viewers, let's talk about what Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary just had to say. He's in fact gone on to react that the Kerala story has been made tax-free in Uttar Pradesh. He's referred to MP. All right, I'm sorry, I'll have to come out of the story and quickly cut across to the G20 press conference that's currently on. Let's listen in.
Honorable Prime Minister will visit Papua New Guinea, which will include 1. The organization and the co-chairing of the 3rd Forum for India-Pacific Island Cooperation, FIPIC Summit on 22 May, and also some of the bilateral meetings. Prime Minister would be reaching Port Moresby from Hiroshima in the evening of 21st of May and will begin his bilateral engagements the next day with a call on the Governor-General of Papua New Guinea, which will be followed by a meeting with the Prime Minister of PNG, Honorable James Marape. This will be Honorable Prime Minister's first visit to that country. During his stay in Port Moresby, Prime Minister will also be holding bilateral engagement with the Prime Minister of Fiji, Honorable Shri Rabuka. This would be their first interaction after Mr. Rabuka came to power in December 2022. As you are all aware, a major highlight of Prime Minister's visit to Papua New Guinea is the third summit of the Forum for Indo-Pacific Island Cooperation, FIPIC, as I just mentioned earlier, which will be jointly hosted with the PNG's Prime Minister, James Marape. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, just to recall, launched this forum during his historic visit to Fiji in November 2014, when he hosted the first FIPIC summit. The second FIPIC summit was held in Jaipur in August 2015, and both the summits have thus far seen participation of all 14 FIPIC countries. Just to list out the 14 PIC countries, these include Cook Islands, Fiji, Republic of Kiribati, Republic of Marshall Islands, Federated States of Micronesia, Niue, Republic of Nauru, Republic of Palau, Papua New Guinea, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Tonga, Tuvalu and Vanuatu. Prime Minister will also be meeting the Prime Minister of New Zealand during his stay in Papua New Guinea. This would also be Prime Minister's first interaction with the Prime Minister of New Zealand, who was sworn in as Prime Minister earlier in January this year. For the last leg of his three-country visit, at the invitation of Prime Minister of Australia, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi will travel to Sydney on 22 through 24 of May. Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to have a bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Albanese in Sydney. This will be their fifth meeting within this year. The first was held exactly a year back on the same date in Tokyo on the sidelines of Quad Leader Summit. Prime Minister is also expected to call on the Governor-General, Honorable David Hertley. Also planned during the visit is a business event where Prime Minister would be meeting the leading CEOs from Australia. Prime Minister will also be addressing the diaspora at a community event in Sydney on 23rd of May. We are expecting Honorable Prime Minister Shri Albanese to also expected to join Prime Minister Modi at this community event. The visit of Honorable Prime Minister to Australia comes, as you all know, within just 2 months of the state visit of Prime Minister Albanese to India in March this year. The first India-Australia annual summit was held during the visit in Delhi on 10th of March, and Prime Minister Modi's last visit to Australia was in November 2014. We expect, and it's also our objective, that the visit to Australia will reinforce the strong priority attached by India and Australia to our bilateral relationship. I would like to end here, and if there are any questions, would be very happy to take them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. For the ground rules, please introduce yourself and the organization that you represent. I'll open the floor. Yes, please go ahead.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर। सर मैं कविता जोशी हूँ, हरिभूमि न्यूज़पेपर से। सर मेरा सवाल ये है कि जो अभी आपने कहा कि हिरोशिमा में क्वाड लीडर्स समिट होगा, तो ये माना जाए कि अब सिडनी में जो क्वाड की मीटिंग होने वाली थी वो कैंसिल हो गई थी, उसकी जगह बदल के अब हिरोशिमा
meeting of whichever leader is meeting whichever leader is being covered, and people are speculating on what's happening. And the fact that the Siddaramaiah group went to town this morning saying that he has been selected, and in Bangalore the preparations began for swearing in, This all, I think, must have embarrassed the Congress party.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, today you had
And
celebrations outside Siddaramaia's
Can I
house.
comment?
You had protesters outside 10 Janpad. I mean, that's absolutely embarrassing. When you have protesters outside the house of the former Congress president. I mean, that's absolutely embarrassing, because that's the point, Meeta Chakrabarti, that all the panelists are making. The BJP has also taken its time in choosing its chief ministers, not like this publicly. Not like this publicly.
Allow me to rebut to that. Congress is my party and Congress is like my mother. These are not my words. These are words spoken by DK Shiv Kumar, and give me 30 seconds or 1 minute of uninterrupted time, please. So both Siddaramaiah and Mr. DK Shiv Kumar are very tall leaders, incredibly talented, very hardworking, and we are choosing between two very tall
Ma'am, we
leaders.
know
I
all
think
of
it's a
that.
good problem.
Please
Each
answer
of
the
them
question I
35
asked
MLAs
you.
were
I asked you a
consulted
simple
and
question.
the input
Can
was
I
collected
make a
I'm
point
asking you a
here?
very
and
simple
was
question.
taken there.
They may be tall leaders, they may be
why
indefatigable
should
leaders,
we, after
but
getting-
why are you
after
allowing
getting-
this dirty linen to be played out in public? That's the question I'm asking.
After getting so I have a problem when you say dirty linen, because sir, answer me very simply. When someone says Congress is like my mother, there is no question of blackmailing or backstabbing. Does it seem like dirty linen
Can
being
I answer
washed
that?
in public?
Ma'am, for the
I don't
last
think so.
3 days, this
Can you please
is
quote
playing
one
out in
single
front of the
statement that
cameras.
Mr. Siddaramaiah
You are okay
so
with
we
that?
are taking our own time.
Congress
We
party
are
is
taking-
okay
what
with.
is being played out?
No,
What is
please
being
take,
played out?
ma'am, you're missing the
That
point.
we are-
Ma'am, if you can calm down and hear me for 10 seconds. Nobody has a problem with you taking 5 days or 10 days or even a month. The problem is it's
Having
all
meetings.
happening in front of the cameras. People are coming
What is
out and
happening
making
in
statements in front of the cameras. Laddus are being given in front of the
Okay, you have
cameras.
asked me something. Please allow
Firecrackers are
me-
being burst in front of the cameras.
Please
Why is
allow
all
me
this
to
happening in the
respond to
public
that.
domain?
Okay. So there's nothing wrong
Zaka,
in celebration. Now, please allow me to answer. What is happening? There is consultation that is happening. We have got a decisive mandate, and we are committed.
Okay, I apologize for the...
Welcome back. We're getting in some breaking inputs right now. Remember, the cabinet reshuffle is on, and now in the latest we are learning that the Minister of State SP Singh Baghel is now to be the Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in place of being the Minister of State in the Ministry of Law and Justice. Remember earlier also we informed you about the latest reshuffle where Arjun Ram Meghwal has been appointed as the new Law Minister replacing Kiren Rijiju. Let's quickly go across to Arunima, who's on the phone line, and we'll throw more details. Arunima, this just seems like a complete revamping of the Law Ministry. Having said that, any information in terms of who will be replacing Baghel?
See, already Arjun Meghwal is not a cabinet rank minister. He's a minister of MOS rank who's being given independent charge of law ministry. So what we're waiting to see is whether a cabinet rank minister will be brought into the law ministry, because SP Singh Baghel was an MOS there, and he has been moved to health. And another MOS rank minister, which is Arjun Ram Meghwal, has been brought into the law ministry with an independent charge. We're also hearing there is a lot of speculation in the power corridors that law ministry may not be the only ministry which is seeing this kind of leadership change. There could be more, press communique expected from the President House there. But yes, it's a complete overhaul of at least the law ministry.
All right. Many thanks to you, Arunima, for bringing in the latest input. And with that, let's now shift focus over to the state of Karnataka. The stalemate on who will be the Chief Minister of Karnataka has finally ended. 5 days after the poll results, Congress today finally announced that Siddaramaiah will be the new Chief Minister, while DK Shivakumar will be the Deputy CM. It is pertinent to note that there will be no rotation of power and Siddaramaiah will be the CM for the full term. Sources are now revealing that Mallikarjun Kharge and the Gandhis convinced DKS to accept the deal, to which DKS said that he will sacrifice for the sake of the party and the Gandhis. Now, state leaders G. Parmeshwara and MB Patil are miffed with the High Command's final call. Sources also tell that the swearing-in ceremony will take place on 20th of May at 12:30 p.m. Meanwhile, a CLP meet is also scheduled to take place today at 7:30 p.m. in Bengaluru. Let's also listen in to what senior Congress leaders K.C. Venugopal and Randeep Surjewala had to say.
Congress President took a decision. He decided to make Siddaramaiah as the Chief Minister of Karnataka. D.K. Shivakumar will be the only one Deputy CM of Karnataka. He will continue as a PCC President till the Parliament election is over. Power sharing formula is to share the power to the people of Karnataka. That's all.
We had made a one-line resolution that whatever the High Command will take a decision, we will abide by it. Ultimately, Rahul ji called me and said, you all have to work together. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge ji called us and gave this dikat. We all have accepted whatever the formula has been generated. What has happened to Congress party? Everything is well. Everything will be well, is going to be well. We have to respect the sentiment of the people of Karnataka and the country at large.
How did you manage to convince D.K. Shivakumar to agree to your formula of deputy CM?
Shri Mallikarjun Kharge has his own sagacious way, knowledge and experience of dealing with the leaders of Karnataka. Everybody listens to his sagacious advice. For us, party is far bigger than post or people.
So there's no rotation formula being applied?
I think the General Secretary organization clearly answered that the only rotation formula or power formula is service of the people as servants of the people.
And do you think it's going to be is it going to be a smooth 5-year term?
Yes, it will be. We will be able to serve.
You don't see a repeat of the Rajasthan situation?
Absolutely not.
When people have given such a big mandate, definitely we should be happy, we should deliver the promises, what they have given. That is our main motto, agenda. Why I should be upset? Because there is a long way to go.
No, I deserve the Chief Minister. Why only Deputy Chief Minister? But at least if the party has to take everybody together, run up to the Parliament election, everybody should together work for that. And I am sure the High Command knows that.
One only hopes that Karnataka is not transmutated into another Rajasthan by the Congress party. The people give a mandate for stability, but the Congress party has a habit of drawing instability from the jaws of stability. And we have seen that template play out in Rajasthan, where Sachin Pilot has been on dharna against his own government. We have seen it play out in Chhattisgarh. We are seeing signs of it in every state where the Congress by mistake gets an opportunity to rule. And therefore one hopes that Karnataka does not become another Rajasthan and somebody does not become the next Sachin Pilot of Rajasthan.
Right, our correspondent Ritu is currently live with us from outside Siddaramaiah's residence. Let's quickly go across to Ritu. Ritu, I'm sure that this is one moment of jubilation over there. And of course, what's doubly interesting is the fact that this is a success and also a swan song for Siddaramaiah now that he will be taking over as CM. Having said that, a lot rests upon the CLP meet today because all the action finally shifts from the national capital to Bengaluru. What should we expect from this CLP meet?
As you pointed out, the drama shifts from Delhi to Bengaluru, and very short time that we will be seeing a lot of developments taking place here in the Silicon Valley, Bengaluru, where Siddaramaiah, the former Chief Minister, will be reaching here in Bengaluru. After all, that is going to be the Karnataka's next Chief Minister, 24th Chief Minister of the state as well. So outside his residence that we are, I request my Vijay to show you those visuals that you can see. A lot of supporters of Siddaramaiah have all come here chanting slogans since morning. They've also come here with a lot of banners and cutouts, trying to erect them here, pouring squirting milk on his pictures as well. There are few supporters of Siddaramaiah here joining me. Let me try and have a word with them as well. सर, मैं आपको सुबह से यहीं पे देख रही हूँ. आप जो है सिद्धरामैया जी का, केवल सिद्धरामैया जी को देखने का इंतजार कर रहे हैं?
मैं अब पक्का सिद्धरामैया जी का अभिमानी हूँ. ये कांग्रेस के सत्ता आने के लिए 1800 किलोमीटर पैदल चला हूँ. और मैं प्रियंका गांधी हमारे बेलगाम डिस्ट्रिक्ट रायबाग तालुका हारूगिरी में.
बेलगाम से आए हैं?
बेलगाम से आया हूँ, बॉम्बे कर्नाटका. और प्रियंका गांधी उधर राहुल इलेक्शन प्रचार में आए थे हारूगिरी में. तभी मैं प्रियंका गांधी जी को भी बोला, प्रियंका गांधी जी तुम बेंगलोर आया था, तभी मैं बाइक पे आया था बोला. इसीलिए सब लीडर लोगों को छोड़ के.
जब सिद्धरामैया जी मुख्यमंत्री बनने वाले हैं तो आप फिर से यहाँ पर आए हैं, उसके बारे में आप क्या कहोगे?
हाँ, सिद्धरामैया जी सीएम हुआ है, इसीलिए 700 करोड़ लोग हमारा कन्नड़ ईगा है ना, उनको दूध पिए जैसा सुख हुआ है. और सिद्धरामैया जी बेड़ी बकरी चराने वाला जात का है. वो बीजेपी वाले ने बोला था सिद्धरामैया जी 2013 से 18 तक सीएम था, तभी ये 300 बेड़ी बकरी गिनने को नहीं आता है, ये क्या राज्य चलाएगा, ऐसा बोला था. सिद्धरामैया जी 5 साल में 13 बजट करके दिखाया. इसीलिए एक कप चुकी बोले तो किसी के पास ऐसा उंगली करके नहीं दिखा के लिया.
He is very proud of what Siddaramaiah is today. He is appreciating his kind of works as well, the pro-people schemes there. But let me try and have word with other supporter as well. Sir, आप भी जो है यहाँ पर सुबह से खड़े हैं, तब से सिद्धरामैया जी के लिए जो है स्लोगन्स रेस कर रहे हैं, कटआउट्स लगाए हुए हैं, केक कट भी किया उनके लिए. तो अभी जो है कुछ ही देर में वो यहाँ पर उनका आगमन भी होगा.
पहले पल मैं सिद्धरामैया जी को धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ कि वो अगले चीफ मिनिस्टर कर्नाटका के बनेंगे. और 7 करोड़ जो जनता है उसका एक ही अव्वल नंबर उनका रहेगा. क्यों हर एक कैस्ट उनको.
सर, अभी जब वो मुख्यमंत्री बनने वाले हैं तो आपको क्या लगता है कि क्या किन किन चीज़ों पर उनको ध्यान देना चाहिए, क्या कुछ चाहिए लोगों को अभी? यहाँ
पहले एक ही है, क्या है ये पूरा कर्नाटका में पूरा कैस्ट हंसी खुशी से मिल के भाईचारे से ये पूरा कर्नाटका शहर एक मादरी बन के एक एग्जाम्पल क्रिएट करना है. क्या एक्चुअली हम 26 जनवरी को जो इंडिपेंडेंस डे हमने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन आया था, डेमोक्रेसी का मतलब समझाने के लिए.
आप जो है एकता का संदेश दे रहे हैं कि एकता होनी चाहिए सारे ही संघ में, उस तरीके से जो है सिद्धरामैया जी को ध्यान भी रखना चाहिए अब की बार राज्य में. सो देयर यू सी द सपोर्टर्स ऑफ सिद्धरामैया ऑल आउटसाइड हिज रेजिडेंस वेटिंग टू जस्ट गेट द ग्लिम्पसेस ऑफ नेक्स्ट चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ Karnataka. After all, they are very happy about the fact that he will be arriving in Bengaluru. But remember, he'll also be heading to the CLP meeting, which is another crucial meeting which will take place at the Congress office here in the city. But needs to be seen what exactly is going to happen in that CLP meeting as well. There are another big announcement that will be made. So that's another part of interesting part that is in fact awaiting.
Absolutely, and perhaps along with the celebrations, there are also a host of challenges that now await Siddaramaiah and DKS. To begin with, it is also going to be the formation of that much-awaited new Karnataka cabinet. Many thanks to you, Ritu, for bringing in all those details. But on that note, let's also bring you all the preparations that are taking place, because remember, the swearing in of the Chief Minister in Karnataka is taking place on 20th of May. Let's bring you all the preparations.
See, we had made
the swearing-in ceremony of Karnataka's next Chief Minister Siddaramaiah is likely to be a grand affair, with thousands of his supporters expected to take part in the ceremony, many of them coming from different parts of Karnataka. At the same time, the Congress party wants to send across a strong message about opposition unity on the same stage. Chief ministers of various states, including M.K. Stalin of Tamil Nadu and other states, along with Congress-ruled state chief ministers, are likely to be invited for the swearing-in to send across a strong message to the BJP ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. Interestingly, all eyes will be on Congress party to see how many ministers take oath alongside Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar, and if they can ensure that both the camps are happy, and if all around 20 to 30 seats of cabinet ministers can be decided in a short span of time.
We're getting in some breaking inputs from the state of Punjab. In Punjab's Gurdaspur district, farmers are currently protesting for compensation for their lands, which were forcibly evicted by the Punjab police from the protest site. And during the eviction, a Punjab police officer even slapped a woman and also thrashed an elderly person. This is what we are learning at the moment. let's quickly go across to our correspondent Napinder Brar, who's on the phone line. Napinder जी, काफी disturbing visuals हैं. जिस तरह का व्यवहार हम देख रहे हैं पंजाब पुलिस का, उसे क्या मालूम पड़ रहा है? ये प्रोटेस्ट क्यों हो रही है? एग्जैक्टली फार्मर्स का क्या कहना है?
देखिए, दरअसल ये कई दिनों से प्रोटेस्ट है जो अलग अलग जगह पर किसानों की तरफ से किए जा रहे हैं। उनकी जो जमीन है उसे जो अधिग्रहण का मामला है और किसान उसका विरोध कर रहे हैं। उसकी कीमत को लेकर के कई तरह की जो किसानों ने उसको सवाल उठाया। देखिए, प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे थे तो इसी दौरान पुलिस वहां पे पहुंची है। पुलिस हालांकि पुलिस की जिम्मेवारी लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को लेकर के है, लेकिन किसी बात को लेकर के दोनों पक्षों में तकरार होती है और इसी तकरार के दौरान एक पुलिस का हवलदार है, हेड कांस्टेबल है, जिसने एक महिला को तमाचा जड़ दिया। देखिए, सबसे बड़ी बात थी कि वहां पे जब कुछ महिला किसान प्रोटेस्ट कर रही थी साथ में, क्योंकि जो कुछ किसान थे उनके साथ महिला किसान भी मौजूद थी। तो इसी माहौल के दौरान वहां पर बिना महिला पुलिस कर्मियों के पुलिस पहुंची हुई थी। तो उस पुलिस वाले ने महिला को, जब थोड़ी बहुत बहस हुई तो बहस के दौरान उसे थप्पड़ मार दिया और बवाल इतना बड़ा कि इसके बाद हालांकि सरकार ने साफ कर दिया है कि इस तरह का जो व्यवहार है वो किसी भी तरीके से बर्दाश्त नहीं होगा और उस फिलहाल हवलदार के खिलाफ कार्रवाई की गई, लाइन हाजिर कर दिया गया है। हालांकि पुलिस के जो सीनियर अधिकारी हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं यह भी कहते नजर आ रहे हैं कि दोनों पक्षों में जब तकरार हुई तो कहीं ना कहीं कहते हैं कि जब महिला की तरफ से कुछ इस तरह से व्यवहार किया गया और उसी के चलते जो पुलिस वाले को गुस्सा आया और उसने इस तरह से किया, लेकिन साथ ही उसे लाइन भी कर दिया गया है और उसकी डिपार्टमेंटल इंक्वायरी की बात की जाए।
नपिंदर जी, इस वीडियो से, जो कि एक बहुत चिलिंग वीडियो है, यही बात स्थापित हो रही है कि काफी फोर्स का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है पंजाब पुलिस के द्वारा, क्योंकि काफी रिपोर्ट्स इंडिकेट कर रही हैं कि ये जो भारतमाला प्रोजेक्ट है दिल्ली और कटरा नेशनल हाईवे के लिए, उसके दौरान जो लैंड इविक्ट कराया जा रहा है उसमें पुलिस काफी इस तरह की फोर्स यूज कर रही है और उनको शायद ये भूल जा रहे हैं कि वो जो है फीमेल प्रोटेस्टर्स या जो कि लेडी फार्मर्स हैं उनके साथ कैसे बर्ताव करना चाहिए डील करने के टाइम।
देखिए, इस तरह से कि पंजाब में कई जगह के तहत जमीन है जो वो एक्वायर की जा रही है, तो ये गुरदासपुर का कुछ एरिया है, वहां पर भी इसी तरह से है। तो प्रोटेस्ट भी कई जगह पर किए जा रहे हैं उसकी जमीन की कीमत को लेकर के, जिस तरह से मैंने पहले कहा पहुंचा हुआ। लेकिन इस तरह मैं पहले कहा कि एक तो होता है दोनों पक्षों में बातचीत करना, दोनों पक्षों में किसी तरह से बातचीत करके मसले को हल करना।
नपिंदर जी, हमें इन्फॉर्मेशन देने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। इनफैक्ट आई एम आल्सो जॉइंड इन बाय मनजिंदर सिंह सिरसा ऑफ द बीजेपी। मिस्टर सिरसा, extremely disturbing, bone-chilling visuals of the male head constable, that too, raising his hand at a female farmer. Is this how we respect the farmers of our nation?
We remember how Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann used to talk about the Kisan protest which happened way back, a year back. And at that point of time, none of this kind of incident ever happened, but still they used to say कि किसानों के साथ जाती हुई है. And today हमें पुलिस दी जाए फिर हम इंसाफ देंगे. And after getting the police force, you see what they are doing. So that was the sole purpose of Arvind Kejriwal getting the police force. और किसानों के साथ ठीक है, आपको लगता है कोई प्रोटेस्ट इलीगल है, आप उसकी कार्रवाई करें, हम उसके खिलाफ नहीं है, कानून को कानून के तरीके से ले जाना पड़ेगा। लेकिन आप मेल पुलिस पर्सन जो हैं वो औरतों के ऊपर इस तरह से हाथ उठाएं, जाति करें, और वो भी भगवंत मान जी की सरकार चुप रहे। अभी तक आप सोचें कि इस घटना को कितने घंटे हो चुके हैं और अभी तक कोई कार्रवाई की बात ही नहीं। और भगवंत मान जी ने इसके ऊपर अभी तक कोई ट्वीट, कोई चर्चा, कोई बयान, कोई स्टेटमेंट अभी तक नहीं दी। तो आप क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं ऐसी सरकार से, या क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं? अन्नदाता को इस तरह से पीटा जा रहा है, औरतों को पीटा जा रहा है पुलिस द्वारा, और वो भी मेल।
आप बहुत सही बात कह रहे हैं कि औरतों को इस तरह पीटा जा रहा है। अन्नदाता होते हैं हमारे कंट्री के फार्मर्स, लेकिन ये प्रोटेस्ट कहां से, मतलब कोई भी इलीगल तो कहीं नहीं जा सकती है। लैंड एक्विजिशन के लिए फार्मर नहीं लड़ेगा तो कौन लड़ेगा? उनका ही लैंड लिया जा रहा है उनसे।
नहीं, मैंने कहा कि अगर वो जस्टिफाई करें कि कोई प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा है उसको रोकना है तो ठीक है, वो जस्टिफाई कर सकते हैं कि प्रोटेस्ट को रोकना है। लेकिन प्रोटेस्ट को रोकने का पीट कर लोगों को पिटवाई करके लोगों को रोकने का तरीका नहीं हो सकता, मेरा कहना ये था। और जो जैसे कि आपने कहा कि अगर कोई अपनी जमीन बचाने के लिए, अब देखिए यहाँ तो खाली जब किसान अपनी जमीन बचाने के लिए रो रहा है, अब तो फसल बचाने के लिए नहीं, अब तो जमीन बचाने के लिए रो रहा है। और सड़क पे क्यों उतरा हुआ है कि मेरी ये जमीन आप इलीगली मत इस तरह से एक्वायर करें, जाति मत करें हमारे साथ। और उसका आप देखें उनको किस तरह से आप ट्रीट कर रहे हैं। तो मुझे तो बहुत अफसोस है इस बात का कि एक किसान का बेटा भगवंत मान जो बार बार कहा करते थे मैं किसान का बेटा हूँ, किसान का बेटा हूँ, किसान का बेटा हूँ, लोकसभा में आकर उन्होंने कहा मैं किसान का बेटा हूँ। आज किसान का बेटा कहाँ है? आज किसान का बेटा इस ऐवान के खिलाफ क्यों कार्रवाई नहीं कर रहा, जब पुलिस की वर्दी में एक ऐवान बनकर और उसके ऊपर इस तरह से हाथ उठाया जा रहा है और किसान का बेटा चुप बैठा है? इसके पीछे क्या कारण है?
Manjinder, I'm going to request you to continue to stay with me. I'm also joined in by Mr. Charan Singh Sapra of the Congress Party. Mr. Sapra, deeply disturbing visuals. How do you assess the treatment being meted out to the farmers of our country in the state of Punjab, which happens to be one of the most fertile states of the country?
This is an example of high-handedness of Punjab police. And earlier the Punjab police was not like this. I feel with this Aam Aadmi government in power, the police are, not doing their actual duty. They should, on one side, there are attacks on police station like Mohali police station. There was a bomb blast. And there are so many other murders going on in Punjab where the police should concentrate. Instead of concentrating or catching the culprits over there, they are trying to hit the poor farmers or the poor lady farmer, which you have shown on your on a TV channel. So it is condemnable, and we condemn this. And this police officer, action should be taken against him immediately.
But Mr. Sapra, what do you make of this incident coming from a state where, as was also highlighted by Napinder, one of our reporters also, that this is coming from a state where the CM himself happens to be a very active supporter of farmers. And is this the treatment that he's meting out to them under his own governance?
So that's what I'm saying, that immediate action should be taken by the Chief Minister. It is the responsibility of the Chief Minister to act within seconds. He has to give a message. There has to be a narrative that he is pro-farmer. Otherwise, this CM is anti-farmer. It will be treated like that. So the CM, who's also in charge of the home portfolio, should immediately react, and this high-handedness of police in Punjab should stop.
And it's not just this incident that we've caught on camera. That is a bone-chilling, disturbing incident. It's important to also talk about, Mr. Sapra, how under Bhagwant Man's government we've seen, time and again, there's a lot of unrest within the farmers. There's a great level of dissatisfaction that's being voiced by them.
Yes, there is great dissatisfaction among the farmers of Punjab, among the youths of Punjab. There are so many other issues of price rise, the inflation in Punjab, the farmers not getting proper MSP for their crops. There are so many issues, and people who have voted for Aam Aadmi Party are now feeling cheated and deceived.
All right, Mr. Sapra, many thanks to you for sharing your thoughts with us. Let's quickly go across to Ashwini Gotyal, who's an IPS from Punjab. Extremely disturbing video surfacing. How do you react to what is happening in your state right now? And is this how the police department should be behaving? In fact, that's not the treatment that should be meted out to any farmer. But here in this case, we are seeing that a female farmer has been slapped as a lady officer. How do you react to this?
Hello, ma'am. This is Ashwini here. I'm at Subitala. Yes, to answer your question, the incident is highly condemnable, and the concerned police official who was caught slapping a woman, he has been put under suspension, and he is being transferred, and departmental action has been initiated against him. At any cost, this kind of indiscipline is not tolerated in any police service, in any uniformed service. And to comment on the situation, the one which took place, there are two sides to the story, as usual. The entire video.
But Ashwini Gotyal, even if there are two sides of the story, what justifies the action coming from such a senior head constable?
Absolutely not. It is not being justified, ma'am. It is absolutely not being justified. That is why he has been held accountable, and he will be answerable to his actions. There is absolutely no justifying the action.
No, and when you say that he will be held liable for his actions, the fact of the matter is that this cannot be just an isolated incident. There has to be an example set for the larger police force, which is right now dealing with this project to get land evicted by the farmers.
I cannot comment on the policy matters, but this police force, this district police force is under me. So I will be responsible and I will hold the people who err in their duties. I will hold them accountable. I can comment on my jurisdiction, please.
Absolutely. Very fair for you to say that, Ashwini Gotyal. But having said that, you know that this is an ongoing project. There will be more land that will be evicted. How will your police force now tackle such cases?
They will tackle every law and order situation with utmost professionalism. They will be briefed time and again, but whenever there are these kind of incidents, and they will be held responsible for their actions.
Has an apology been issued to this lady by the head constable that we can see in this video?
That I need to check, madam. I'm not sure if that angle.
Would you ensure that an apology is offered to this woman?
I will check that. I cannot promise or I cannot comment also because it is not part of this situation right now. But then for his behavior, for his misconduct during the duty, I will hold him accountable.
All right. Many thanks to you, Ashwini Gotyal, for joining in on CNN News 18. And I'm also joined in by Manish Tiwari of the Congress Party right now. Mr. Tiwari, I don't even feel like asking you what are your thoughts on this video because to say the least, this is a deeply chilling video. What does it speak of the governance in the state of Punjab?
I think it's extremely unfortunate what has happened. And such high-handed behavior is absolutely reprehensible. The Punjab government must make an example of the concerned police official because to manhandle an elderly lady, to raise your hand on somebody who's protesting for their democratic rights. After all, if you're trying to acquire somebody's land and if they feel that they are not getting appropriate compensation, it is their constitutional right to protest. And if protests are to be squelched in this manner by using extremely high-handed and heavy-handed methods, then it does not augur well for the state at all. So therefore, under those circumstances, I think it is important that exemplary action must be taken against those who are responsible as soon as possible.
Mr. Tiwari, this eviction was being carried on for the Bharatmala project. I do believe that this eviction process is going to be on. And when you say that there should be an example made out of the suspension of this official, how does one ensure that such incidents are not repeated during the ongoing eviction?
Well, obviously, if there's a problem with the eviction, then the administration needs to sit down with the people who are aggrieved and resolve the problems. You can't do it by force. It cannot be my way or the highway. Obviously, there is an issue. That's why people are protesting. And in a democracy, when people protest, a government should reach out to people, rather than treating them in a extremely cavalier manner or in an extremely shabby manner.
All right. Many thanks to you, Mr. Tiwari, for joining in with your inputs. Thoroughly appreciate. And with that, it's a quick wrap from my end. Thank you so much for watching CNN News 18. News and updates continue on the other side.
Is being covered, and people are speculating on what's happening. And the fact that the Siddaramaiah group went to town this morning saying that he has been selected and in Bangalore, the preparations began for swearing in. This all, I think, must have embarrassed the Congress party.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, today you had celebrations outside Siddaramaiah's house. You had protesters outside 10 Janpad. I mean, that's absolutely embarrassing. When you have protesters outside the house of the former Congress president. I mean, that's absolutely embarrassing because that's the point, Meeta Chakrabarti, that all the panelists are making. The BJP has also taken its time in choosing its chief ministers, not like this publicly. Not like this publicly.
Allow me to rebut to that. Congress is my party and Congress is like my mother. These are not my words. These are words spoken by DK Shiv Kumar, and give me 30 seconds or 1 minute of uninterrupted time, please. So both Siddaramaiah and Mr. D.K. Shivkumar are very tall leaders, incredibly talented, very hardworking, and we are choosing between two very tall
Ma'am, we
leaders.
know
I
all
think
of
it's a
that.
good problem. Yes,
Please
each
answer
of
the
them
question I
35
asked
MLAs
you.
were consulted.
I asked you a simple
and
question.
the input
Can
was
I
collected
Ma'am, I'm
make a
asking
point
you a
here?
very
was
simple
taken
question.
there.
They may be tall leaders, they may be
Why
indefatigable
should
leaders,
we, after
but
getting-
why are you
after
allowing
getting-
this dirty linen to be played out in public? That's the question I'm asking.
After getting so I have a problem when you say dirty linen, because sir, answer me very simply. When someone says Congress is like my mother, there is no question of blackmailing or backstabbing. Does it seem like dirty linen
Can
being
I answer
washed
that?
in public?
Ma'am, for the
I don't
last
think
3
so.
days, this
Can
is
you please
this is
quote
playing
one
out in
single
front of the
statement that Mr.
cameras.
Siddaramaiah
You are okay
so
with
we
that?
are taking our own time.
Congress
We
party
are
is
taking-
okay
what
with.
is being played out?
No,
What is
please
being
take,
played out?
ma'am, you're missing the
That
point.
we are-
Ma'am, if you can calm down and hear me for 10 seconds. Nobody has a problem with you taking 5 days or 10 days or even a month. The problem is it's
Having
all
meetings.
happening in front of the cameras. People are coming
What is
out and
happening
making
in
statements in front of the cameras. Laddus are being given in front of the
Okay, you have
cameras.
asked me something. Please allow
Firecrackers are
me-
being burst in front of the cameras.
Please
Why is
allow
all
me
this
to
happening in the
respond to
public
that.
domain?
Okay. So there's nothing wrong
Zaka,
in celebration. Now, please allow me to answer. What is happening? There is consultation that is happening. We have got a decisive mandate, and we are committed.
Okay, I apologize for the bad audio
the
with
welfare of
our
the-
Congress guest. We'll try and fix it in a moment and then get her back on. But I believe Mr. Vaidyanathan is also staying with us. What I want to know is a very simple question, Mr. Vaidyanathan. In the normal course of things, if a leader gets the support of the majority of MLAs, then automatically he or she lays claim to become the leader of the legislature party, and in this case, because it's the winning party, the chief minister. Why is that simple?
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching The Nation at 5. I'm Anusha Sonia. Top focus this hour, the relief coming in for the movie makers of the film Kerala Story. The Apex Court has given a decisive order today, lifting the ban on the movie The Kerala Story that was imposed by the West Bengal Government. The Apex Court stayed the West Bengal Government's notification, which was issued on the 8th of May, resulting in banning the movie. The top court also said that theatres are free to conduct screenings of the film across the state. The top court also heard the appeals against the refusal of the Kerala High Court and Madras High Court in the month of July. That's slated for another day of hearing. But today, the major judgment coming in, the major order coming in, is that the top court has lifted that ban that was put by the West Bengal government. There were various points that were raised about the figure, the 32,000 figures. And to that effect, there's also a disclaimer which has to be put by the movie makers. That's an undertaking that has been given at the Supreme Court. Reactions.
Sir, what do you have to say to that? There is now no ban. Bengal, the film can be showed.
No, I don't want to say anything as to what the verdict of the court is concerned. But definitely our government was having some input, was having some intelligence report that there could have been some law and order issue, there could have been some violences, there could have been some spread of hatred or something like that. That's why government took step at that point of time. It's a fact, it's a matter of fact that you have seen. So far, few other movies are concerned. When those movies were displayed in several parts of the country, incidents happened. Incident took place in those parts of the country. So, like if anything happens in any part of any corner of the country, who will take the responsibility? If there is any violation of law and order, if there is any violence, if there is any incident of hatred, who will be holding the responsibility for those incidents? That is a big question.
Kerala Story. কোথায় কোথায় বিনা পয়সায় দেখাচ্ছে? মধ্যপ্রদেশ, উত্তরপ্রদেশ। কারণ সে সমস্ত রাজ্যগুলো বিজেপি পরিচালিত, তাই তারা দেখাচ্ছে। সেখানে ভারতবর্ষের বিপ্লবীদের এত ছবি, সেই ছবি বিনা পয়সায় দেখানো হয় না। কিন্তু কেরল স্টোরি দেখানো হয় বিনা পয়সায়, কাশ্মীর ফাইলস দেখানো হয় বিনা পয়সায়। তার কারণ সেখানে বিভাজনের রাজনীতি করা যাবে।
Well, getting across to my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar, who was tracking all the developments of the hearing that happened in the Supreme Court. Ananya, a very important order coming in. Take us through the key observations that came from the Supreme Court. While they have lifted this ban that was imposed by the West Bengal government, there were also certain questions that were asked about the representation of a certain community or any kind of, inappropriate details that were given out in the movie, which were not factually backed. So to that effect, there has to be a disclaimer that needs to be put out.
Well, definitely, Anusha, this is a bench at this D.Y. Chanchud, the Chief Justice of India, which had a lot of questions for Mr. Salve, who was appearing for, in fact, the filmmakers. In fact, at the end of the day, they were asked to extend their disclaimer. They are asked to say that, this 32,000 figure is nothing. And they have to say that, there is no definite figure as to how many girls have actually been converted. Apart from that, what has also been said is that in the disclaimers, it has to be added that it is a story, though it might be based on true events, but it is a fictionalization of those events is what has to be done in this particular case. Now, also very, very clear at this point of time is that there is a big relief that is coming for the Kerala story filmmakers, because remember that they have now been given a great go ahead to actually go and screen their films everywhere they want to. The ban on the West Bengal that was levied by the West Bengal government of the film has now been lifted. And with regards to Tamil Nadu, where in fact the filmmakers were claiming that there is a de facto ban, that has also now the Supreme Court has said the security has to be provided in the theaters. So definitely a lot of developments, but a big day for the Kerala story filmmakers, giving a clear green signal for the film to go in. And in fact, remember that this comes only 2 days after, in fact, the British certain censor board too had given a green signal to this particular movie.
Ananya Bhatnagar continues to stay with us on the broadcast. Ananya, stay with us to just give a background. Well, this was a movie which has been released across the country. It has made reasonable money at the box office. The reception has been quite decent, commercially speaking. But there have been polarized opinions that have come in ever since this movie has been released. On one side of the wing is people arguing that this is some kind of propaganda. It's not factually backed. And it also doesn't represent the community in the right light. On the other hand, it's the Supreme Court saying, if you don't like the movie, don't watch it. But there are no grounds to ban this movie and taking that order, putting out that order. Kamalika with us on the broadcast. Kamalika, the West Bengal government saying we'll abide by the Supreme Court verdict.
See, obviously, whatever the order has come from the Supreme Court, that order will definitely, as a government, they will abide with the order. But the thing is that the question that has been raised by TMC political party, and also the day when this film was banned, Mamata Banerjee herself did a press conference, and she said that the government has definite input that there might be a law and order issue. Now, who will address that and what is going to happen to that? That's a big question. So they have not, they are now discussing the entire thing, but how to really go about with this. And this is also to be seen that who are the hall owners and that they are going to bring this film to release. So this is one thing which has been discussed in the administrative circles, that what to do with this film since the Supreme Court order has come.
I want to cut across to my colleague Ananya as well, who's with us on the broadcast. Ananya, shadow ban of sort is something which is being spoken of as far as the state of Tamil Nadu is concerned. And even there, it's been said that they should ensure that protection is given if there is any adverse law and order situation. So even as far as state of Tamil Nadu is concerned, there's an order to that effect, not exactly the same as the West Bengal government. There's also a reaction of Shashi Panja on the story. Let's listen in and then I'll cut across to my colleagues.
The Honorable Chief Minister took a call because she is the administrative head of her state and she knows best what is best for her state. Even in Kerala, there was a litigation because they had mentioned in the teaser or the trailer that there are 32,000 such girls. So Kerala High Court had also asked the film director if there are 32,000 girls. He said no, it's a story of 3 girls. So there was one big discrepancy out there. Now the point is that as an administrative head, she is supposed to look after the law and order and she will take the call on the matter in the best interests of the state.
Cutting across to Mr. Sukanto Majumdar, the West Bengal BJP chief with us on the broadcast. Good evening, Mr. Majumdar. Thank you so much for speaking with us. It's a welcome order that the Supreme Court has given, once again upholding the freedom of free expression in this country, irrespective of political choices, dispensations and political leanings of people. But there's also an important bit. 32,000 figure is not backed, and the movie makers need to put out a disclaimer.
So see, this is a film, and everybody should consider it, and everybody should accept it as a film. There are several films generally released from the Hollywood, Bollywood, and not all the stories are the real story. So obviously, it's the problem of the love that is happening. Whether number may be 3 or maybe more, that is not the matter. If the single incident happened, this kind of incident happened, then that should come to the public. Public should know about that incident. So nobody can prevent that from coming to the people. And we welcome this move of the Supreme Court, and this is a great slap in the face of Mamata Banerjee once again from the Supreme Court.
Mr. Majumdar, there's one more facet of law and order which the West Bengal government raised before the Supreme Court. They also cited certain intel reports and said, look, the situation can go out of hand if this movie is released. They also cited recent communal instances that have happened in the state. Do you find that argument plausible at all? I mean, the court did not accept that argument as a reasonable basis to ban this movie. But is there a real apprehension in any way?
See, this is the duty of the state.
Yes.
To provide the law and order, to maintain the law and order situation in every area of the state. But the thing is that West Bengal government is unable to maintain the law and order situation during the Ram Navami also. And police was just a spectator during this Ram Navami procession when those processions were attacked. So that is the present situation of West Bengal law and order situation. And that's why Mamata Banerjee is surrendering. Mamata Banerjee's government is surrendering in front of this kind of fanatic people. Those attacks on the Ram Navami as well as this time also the
Mr. Majumdar, not that I agree with these allegations in any way, and it's not my place to what TMC has been arguing. But their argument is that this is a propaganda. Movies like these are a propaganda of the Sangh Parivar. And in fact, tomorrow they would go ahead and make a movie on West Bengal. And this is an extension of the propaganda by the BJP. Respond to that allegation, sir.
It is a propaganda. Let it be decided by the people. Why you are preventing from the show? Why are you preventing the film director or producer to show it in West Bengal? If it is a propaganda, then public should reject it. Now, what is the present collection of this film? I don't know, but it's more than 100 crores. So if people is accepting this, so even the PK film, it was, even some people will tell that that was a propaganda. At that time, nobody objected. So this is not the way. You should leave it to the people of this country. I think our people, and the main thing is that Mamata Banerjee is not believing those people who voted for herself. You should have the faith on the wisdom of those people.
Well, Mr. Majumdar, the Supreme Court has the final word, and they said that the movie cannot be banned. It won't be banned. It will be released in the state of West Bengal. It's the duty of the state government to provide law and order and maintain this internal security situation. I want to cut across to my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar for a final word on the story. Ananya, what were the orders with respect to the state of Tamil Nadu? Because there was no explicit official order like West Bengal where they banned the screening of the movie, but there was a shadow ban, as the movie makers argued.
Well, it is a de facto ban is what, in fact, is mentioned in the petitions filed by the filmmaker as well. They allege that there was a de facto ban in the state of Tamil Nadu, and multiplex owners were being forced to not actually show the film. Now, with regards to Tamil Nadu, the Supreme Court is very, very clear that, the state of Tamil Nadu will have to provide security to all the multiplexes in the state to actually, wherein this film is being screened. And it is the duty of, in fact, the state of Tamil Nadu to actually provide proper security arrangements and to maintain law and order in the state. But the screening of the film cannot be banned. And remember, Anusha, this matter would stem into autonomy of the CBFC when the matter is heard back in July. It would stem into how films are to be made and what is permitted and what not to be permitted. So definitely, this is not just the debate about the Kerala story, but would actually certainly lay down the law when it comes to filmmaking, when it comes to what has to be shown in theaters or not. But at this point of time, this is a big relief that is coming in for both, in fact, for the filmmakers, and a setback for both the West Bengal and the Tamil Nadu government.
Ananya Bhatnagar tracking all the developments from the Supreme Court of India, getting us all the details on that story. While my colleague Anand Narasimhan, he also spoke to the producers of the movie. Here's a detailed conversation, an excerpt from that conversation. Listen in.
Congratulations.
Namaste.
Congratulations. How would you see the ruling by the Honorable Court today, Supreme Court?
It's a great ruling. It's a landmark judgment, according to me. It will go a long way in our principles of democracy and free speech, and people will be able to enjoy this film now in the parts where it was not allowed. So I think it's a great judgment. We have still to receive the copy, so fine print has to be read. But according to me, whatever I heard, it's amazing.
Vipulji, some amendments that you would also, as the filmmaker, would have to make in the disclaimer part, where the court has opined and Justice Chandrachud has said in the court that you would have to say that the number 32,000 has not been authenticated or verified, and the other part that this is a fictionalized version of events. So this disclaimer you would have to add. Are you open to doing that?
We will, again, I will have to study the judgment and what the disclaimer needs to be changed to. But we will abide by the Supreme Court's judgment in its totality. We are absolutely law-abiding, and we respect what Honorable Supreme Court has delivered today. I think today is a day for every Indian who wants the right for free speech and freedom of expression should be happy. We are really grateful.
You say the freedom of speech, but freedom of speech also comes with certain restrictions and responsibility. So let me ask you, this whole fight has been, our argument has been based around this 32,000 number. Do you believe that that could have been avoided? Was it a tad irresponsible to go big with this 32,000 number?
Anand, let the judgment come in my hand. I want to talk about this 32,000 number in detail, but maybe today is not the right day. We don't want to say anything which might contravene, with the judgment itself. We would like to respect the judgment in its totality, its in entirety. So let this thing get over, and I promise you we'll talk about this number.
We have spoken about this when you visited our studios, and between 32 and 3 you also did a press conference with 26 of the survivors who came up and spoke. So clearly it is neither 32,000 or 3. The number is, and in court there was also this aspect of that the film clip that was played in court said 2,800 to 3,200. Although more of these aspects have come through, this is what the Chief Justice has said. I'm reading out what our team was able to report from court. There is no authentic data to back up that the figure of conversion stands at 32,000. The film is a fictionalized version of events. So these are the two disclaimers that the Chief Justice has requested. Mr. Harish Salve, senior counsel appearing on behalf of the film producer, submits that in order to put the controversy regarding the film at rest, a following disclaimer be added not later than 5 p.m. 20th of May 2023. And these are the two disclaimers, Vipulji.
As I said, whatever the court has asked of us, we shall abide in letter and spirit without anything from our end. We respect the court's judgment, and we shall do whatever we have been asked for.
One of the aspects is the state of West Bengal and also the state of Tamil Nadu have been asked to facilitate screening of the movie. How would you see that aspect?
I think that is the most important part of this judgment, where we were not allowed to express our opinion or our film, in many ways. I would say that it was done in a way which court has not, agreed with. And they've been directed to allow the screening, and they've also been directed that if any theatre owner is threatened, then they should provide the security. And I think that is a great thing. This allows the film to be now screened in Bengal and Tamil Nadu with immediate effect. and so the people are going to watch it. And I must say that because of this judgment, even in the rest of the India, there is going to be another wave of euphoria for the film, and people will welcome this judgment with their hearts open.
All right, some latest news coming in. Responding to the capsized Chinese fishing vehicle, Indian Navy deploys aircraft for search efforts in the southern Indian Ocean. A Chinese fishing vessel was capsized with 39 crew members aboard, and there are rescue operations which are being done by India. India has come forward to lend a hand, and this is as per the international protocols and a practice that India has also followed, and it continues to do that with the Chinese as well. Those are the latest developments coming in. It's a swift humanitarian action that was taken by the Indian Navy, which deployed its air MR assets in the southern IOR, approx 900 nautical miles from India. This was in response to the sinking of a Chinese fishing vessel. There were 39 crew members aboard. The crew includes nationals from China, Indonesia, and also Philippines. Now, this is a display of India's obligation as a credible, responsible partner for ensuring safety at sea, and displaying that India is in compliance with all the international protocols as well. My colleague Akash with us on the broadcast. Akash, tell us more about this rescue operation.
Anusha, this is for the benefit of our viewers, that this was a Chinese fishing vessel that sank, in fact, in the Indian Ocean region, and it was just 900 nautical miles away from our coast. And after China asked for help, this is Indian Navy that has deployed its P-8 aircraft, and in fact, we are learning that multiple rounds of rescue and relief operation has been going on as of now, even when I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
And we are learning that many people are in fact missing from the particular vessel. And, it was reported that initially total 39 members were there on board, and 17 of them were Chinese, and then remaining were from different nations. But as of now, this is an assistance that has been provided by Indian Navy as of now. In fact, these are the images where we can see that the aircraft and also several other resources of Indian Navy have been deployed for this particular mission.
Akash getting us all the details on that important story. Thank you, Akash. We'll continue coming back to you. There's some more news coming in from the state of Rajasthan. Well, earlier it seemed like a political clash. Now it has become a full-blown street fight. It seems like that the rivalry between Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot has escalated to a new level. The party workers from both the factions manhandled each other today. Now, this is what exactly happened. That Pilot camp workers organized a meeting, and at the same spot there was the party workers from the Gehlot camp who reached there. And there was a scuffle that broke out. The images on your screen right now. This only points out to how there is a division on the ground as well between the cadres. My colleague Bhavani joining us on the broadcast. Bhavani, आपसे जानना चाहेंगे क्या हुआ? हम ये तस्वीरें देख सकते हैं, मारपीट हो गई थी और ये सारे कांग्रेस के ही वर्कर्स हैं।
देखिए, सारे कांग्रेस के वर्कर हैं और कांग्रेस ने राजस्थान में फीडबैक कार्यक्रम शुरू किया, जिसमें 3 पार्टी के को इंचार्ज बनाए हैं जो जाकर फीडबैक लेना। उसमें एक अमृता भवन है जिनको आज अजमेर में फीडबैक कार्यक्रम था, जिसमें पार्टी और सरकार दोनों का फीडबैक लेना था कि सरकार कैसा काम कर रही है, क्या पॉसिबिलिटी है, कौन कैंडिडेट हो सकते हैं। इसको लेकर एक मीटिंग थी। इस मीटिंग के अंदर जो इंतजाम वो सचिन पायलट कैंप ने कराया, कि ये पायलट के प्रभाव वाला इलाका माना जाता है अजमेर, जहाँ से सचिन पायलट सांसद भी रह चुके हैं। तो उसी दौरान जब अशोक गहलोत कैंप के नेता हैं, जिसमें धर्मेंद्र राठौर काफी गहलोत के करीबी है, उनके साथ समर्थक पहुंचे, और नेता पहुंचे, और उनमें आपस में एक दूसरे के अंदर इस बात को लेकर काफी नाराजगी थी कि हमने आपको इन्वाइट नहीं किया, आज क्यों आए, पार्टी का कार्यक्रम, उसको लेकर हॉट टॉक हुई, नारेबाजी हुई। फिर उसके बाद में झगड़ा बढ़ गया और ये हाथापाई तक पहुंच गई। अब ये केवल मसला ये नहीं है कि अजमेर के अंदर किसी बात को लेकर ये मामला बने, क्योंकि सचिन पायलट और अशोक गहलोत के बीच में इस तरीके से लगा। सचिन पायलट ने जनसंघर्ष यात्रा अजमेर से शुरू की थी, जयपुर के अंदर रैली की थी और उसको 15 दिन का अल्टीमेटम दिया था अशोक गहलोत को अपने डिमांड को लेकर। उसके बाद में राजस्थान कांग्रेस में टेम्परेचर हाई है। गहलोत और पायलट कैंप के अंदर काफी जो कार्यकर्ता, दोनों तरफ के नेता है, दोनों में लगातार बयानबाजी हो रही है, उकसाने की बयानबाजी हो रही है, एक दूसरे पर एलिगेशन लगा रहे हैं। ये उसका रिफ्लेक्शन है, असर है जो नीचे आ रहा है। और अब कांग्रेस के सामने, कांग्रेस हाईकमान के सामने चुनौती है इसका हल निकालने की।
इसका हल निकालने की देखिए, ये जो दो गुट बन गए हैं भवानी कांग्रेस पार्टी के अंदर, अशोक गहलोत और सचिन पायलट, कहीं ना कहीं ये जो द्वंद है ये पार्टी वर्कर्स में भी देखने मिल रहा है। और चुनाव के इतने नज़दीक अगर पार्टी वर्कर्स ही बटे हुए हैं तो कांग्रेस कितनी कड़ी टक्कर दे पाएगी बीजेपी को, ये भी अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा सवाल है, और एक ऐसा सवाल है जो कांग्रेस आलाकमान को अब कहीं ना कहीं एड्रेस करना पड़ेगा।
देखिए बिल्कुल, और यही सबसे बड़ी चुनौती है कांग्रेस आलाकमान के सामने, क्योंकि अगर इसका हल नहीं खोजा गया, क्योंकि गहलोत और पायलट कैंप के बीच में जिस तरीके से पूरे राजस्थान के अंदर ये स्थिति खड़ी हो गई है, तो अगर इसका हल नहीं निकाला गया तो इलेक्शन के अंदर कांग्रेस कैसे जाएगी, स्थितियां क्या होगी, इसका अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया भवानी, ये सारी जानकारी हम तक लाने के लिए। दिस इज आई बिलीव आफ्टर कर्नाटका, दिस इज वन थिंग दैट द कांग्रेस पार्टी डेफिनेटली नीड्स टू टेक केयर ऑफ. Rajasthan cannot be an example of Congress governance or the internal feuds that the Congress party has faced in the recent past. They have much more important elections in the latter part of this year and the big battle of 2024. We talk about this and much more on the other side of a quick break. Stay tuned.
These are the two principal actors who won this election for Karnataka, and there's no third person who has won this election. If at all some role has been played, it is by Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge giving a helping hand as a Congress president. And if you're talking about people like M.B. Patil or Parameshwar, they had a little role in these elections. So to make them as a third candidate or a possible compromise candidate, I think it will be turning the whole exercise into a farce, and it won't happen, because these two have really worked really hard to bring Congress to this level where they got 135 seats.
So between these two, who would you choose between these two?
See, it's very difficult, and I think they should have made this decision at least a week before, when they had a sense that Congress was getting a majority. I'm sure they knew that they were getting a majority, or at least when these observers were sent to Bangalore, and they meticulously took the opinion of each and every legislator till 2 a.m. They took them, and then what did they do with that? With all the information that they had.
No. The information there was very clear, Mr. Upadhyay. The MLAs very clearly, overwhelmingly voted or were in favor of Mr. Siddaramaiah. But clearly that's not the only yardstick the High Command wants to go by.
No, but see, by dragging the whole thing to Delhi and making a spectacle of it here, what is that you have achieved? I think they've made made Karnataka into a farce now.
Okay.
Because you have the media glare, every single meeting of whichever leader is meeting whichever leader is being covered, and people are speculating on what's happening. And the fact that the Siddaramaiah group went to town this morning saying that he has been selected, and in Bangalore the preparations began for swearing in. This all, I think, must have embarrassed the Congress party.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, today you had celebrations outside Siddaramaiah's house. You had protesters outside 10 Janpad. I mean, that's absolutely embarrassing. When you have protesters outside the house of the former Congress president. I mean, that's absolutely embarrassing, because that's the point, Meeta Chakrabarti, that all the panelists are making. The BJP has also taken its time in choosing its chief ministers, not like this publicly. Not like this publicly.
Allow me to rebut to that. Congress is my party and Congress is like my mother. These are not my words. These are words spoken by D.K. Shiv Kumar, and give me 30 seconds or 1 minute of uninterrupted time, please. So both Siddaramaiah and Mr. D.K. Shiv Kumar are very tall leaders, incredibly talented, very hardworking, and we are choosing between two very tall
Ma'am, we
leaders.
know
I
all
think
of
it's a
that.
good problem. Yes,
Please
each
answer
of
the
them
question.
Welcome back. You're watching The Nation at 5, and this is a big order that has come from the Supreme Court of India, which upheld the Tamil Nadu government's law or the amendment allowing the bull taming sport of Jallikattu in the state. The 5-judge constitution bench headed by Justice K.M. Joseph stated that when the legislature has declared the sport as part of cultural heritage of the state, then the judiciary cannot take an alternative view. The order will have a bearing on Karnataka and Maharashtra as well. Parts of these states also hold this bull taming sport. Although it holds a great cultural significance to Tamil Nadu, animal rights activists and groups, including PETA, had argued before the Supreme Court and challenged the Tamil Nadu government's law that had allowed the sport in the state. They argued that Jallikattu is cruel to animals and it should be banned. Let's take you through some key observations that have come in from the Supreme Court of India, precisely the parts of the order which the court read out in an open court today. The court asserted that Jallikattu is a part of the cultural heritage of the state of Tamil Nadu, and the court is satisfied that it is part of the heritage. They also said that preservation of culture should be debated by the legislature, by the people who have been chosen by the electorate, and not so much by the judiciary. The court is also of the opinion that judiciary can't take a last view if legislature has already decided on a matter that some practice holds a huge cultural significance. The court asserted that it's incorrect notion that sporting activity can't have any cultural value. It can. The Supreme Court said that the Amendment Act and the rules substantially, they minimize pain and suffering to the animals. The amendment, what was the amendment? There were certain precautionary measures that were taken to ensure that the bulls are not harmed. The court said that since there is no death, it does not mean that Jallikattu is a blood sport. Sometimes there is death that occurs of these animals who take part in the sport. The court also said that it doesn't suggest that participants are trying to extract blood. That's not the reason why the sport is conducted. The court's observation also include the amendment having received the presidential assent, and they do not think that there is any fault or a ground for a court to intervene. The top court further noted the Constitution Bench decision on the Tamil Nadu Amendment Act will guide our decision on the amendments of Maharashtra and Karnataka, which means that by deduction, they would be allowed to go ahead with this bull taming sport. We also have got you some ground reports. Have a look.
Madurai people has been celebrating the judgment regarding Jallikattu, especially in Tamil Nadu. Madurai has been celebrating the Jallikattu as a cultural festival. After the Jallikattu ban, they are so interested to doing the festival as so energetic, and now after the verdict, they are celebrating the verdict as sharing the sweets and burning the crackers, as well as they are dancing while celebrating the verdict. They are celebrating this verdict as a Madurai's victory.
Well, there's an interesting backdrop to this entire order. When this amendment was passed in the State Assembly, all parties, including the DMK, AIADMK, the opposition, the government, everybody supported it because this sport has a tradition of more than a century in the state, and people at large were angered by the order of the Supreme Court, which had earlier put a stay or a ban on it. The union government and eventually the state government brought out these amendments and notification to ensure that the bull taming sport is allowed. There's a credit war, as expected. Now, the DMK has said that it was their party who gave the best of the lawyers to fight this case at the Supreme Court. AIADMK, on the other hand, said Jallikattu was banned and it was imposed during the time of the UPA government. Ordinance was brought in to promulgate it. It was passed by AIADMK government. And this ordinance, the fact that the AIADM government took this kind of effort, is something that they should be credited for. BJP is not left far behind. BJP's Annamalai was quick to thank the Prime Minister for ensuring that the ban on Jallikattu was lifted. He also slammed the UPA regime for banning it and said that the ban was removed under the NDA government. We have voices on the story. Let's begin by listening to Kanimori.
Ma'am, celebrations across Tamil Nadu, especially in Madurai, because the Supreme Court has upheld the laws on Jallikattu. How does it feel now?
The youth of Tamil Nadu came together to protest, to preserve this game, which has been a part of the Tamil culture for centuries together. Chief Minister has fought this and the Tamil Nadu government has ensured that we get justice, and not only this is just not justice, but it is a celebration of our culture, which is rightfully belongs to the people of this state. The Supreme Court has recognized the culture and the tradition of the Tamil people today. Procedures to ensure that there's no cruelty to animals and they are treated well and they are healthy. So you should understand that people understood nature much better than we did today.
தமிழுடைய பாரம்பரிய உரிமை அது வந்து ஒரு தடை செய்யப்பட்ட ஒரு சூழ்நிலையில் மக்களுடைய கிளர்ச்சி அந்த மக்களுடைய கிளர்ச்சியின் அடிப்படையிலும் அனைத்து இந்திய அண்ணா திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழக ஆதரவின் அடிப்படையிலும் அன்றைய மத்திய அரசு வந்து ஒரு சட்ட பாதுகாப்பு கொடுத்தது. இன்னைக்கு வந்து உச்சநீதிமன்றம் அதை உறுதி செய்வது ஒரு நல்ல வரவேற்பு தகுந்த ஒரு விஷயம். ஆனால் இதுக்கு வந்து ஜல்லிக்கட்டு நாயகன்ற பேர் அவருக்கு கிடையாது. ஏன்னா அன்னைக்கு வந்து மக்கள் வந்து அந்த கிளர்ச்சி வந்து போராட்டம் கூடாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு அன்னைக்கு தடியடி நடத்துவார் அவர். இதெல்லாம் மறந்துடக்கூடாது நாட்டு மக்கள்.
Well, joining us on the broadcast is Mr. S. Muralidharan, who's an animal rights activist. So thank you so much. We are also expected to be joined by DMK very soon. But Mr. Muralidharan, how do you see the Supreme Court order? They have somewhere tried to strike this balance between culture and the rights of animals and the safety and security of animals. It cannot be at the cost of, security and safety of animals. But the court is also of the view that if there is a cultural practice which has been going on for over a century now, the state government has a right to perpetuate that practice and the court can't stop it.
Not just a century, it's for thousands of years. The Sangam literature is 2,000 years old. And there we have a depiction of Jallikattu. That's one. Second is, Supreme Court is once bitten, twice shy. They don't want people to come to the streets once again, protesting against their own verdict. So I'm sure they would have been cautious enough on that. And even the Sabarimala was the same reason, right? I mean, you have to understand regional sentiments. You have to respect people's belief. This is not just a Tamil culture; it is a Hindu culture. Because the Vadi
Mr. I'm trying to understand your argument. We have Mr. Salim Dharanidharan from the DMK also joining us on the broadcast. But Mr. Muralidharan, first to you. I believe that the court doesn't take into account people's sentiments. I believe that is taken into account by the legislature. The court has to rule on a point of law. And you'd remember, I'm sure you're aware, earlier there was a stay order from the Supreme Court on holding the Jallikattu festival. Eventually there were, interventions by the union government, by the state government, and hence the sport was allowed. But it has a record in the Supreme Court that at one point the top court had stopped the conducting of this festival.
Yes, probably the top court didn't understand what was happening at that point of time. As I said, the people's sentiments. People elect, the legislature. Legislature will, enact laws for them. That's way to go. And these are, legislative, subjects where courts have no job. Probably they realized it halfway after giving the verdict and seeing people coming to the streets for Sabarimala and for Jallikattu. That's where they probably corrected their mistake. Having said that, and what you need to understand is the first sabotage was by PETA. PETA is an international organization. Their main job in Norfolk, Virginia is to pick up stray dogs and stray cats and euthanize them. So that's what they do for a living. And only in India, they want to propagate, we should have dogs in the street and we should not play our, most lovable sport like Jallikattu. We should not have elephants in the temples. They propagate only in India because when they heard sentiments, they know there'll be a huge outrage. And when they ban it, they get millions of dollars in donations. The first case, why did we lose it? It's only because of PETA colluded with Animal Welfare Board of India and they sabotaged the entire case. Even this case, did you see whom the Union of India was fighting against? It was the Animal Welfare Board of India.
Yes,
the Animal Welfare Board of India went rogue. Along with Animal Welfare Board of India, there were two other litigants, petitioners. One is Anjali Sharma. She was the erstwhile AWBI lawyer. Then we had ML Jayasimha. Jayasimha Naganahalli. He is part of Human Society American NGO. What is he doing in India? Why is he so much worried about Indian sports and Indian culture?
I take your broader point. Mr. Salim Dharanidharan,